Hi friends, my name is Maruti and I am the co-founder of Krakow. In this video, we'll be looking at 50 very important questions for the upcoming XAT examination. Initially, we'll show the question and after that, we'll give the video solution. So please try to answer the question when we show the question. Pause the video and try to answer it. And after that, look at the video solution. Krakow is providing 5 very good mocks for XAT. We are also providing 1 free mock. So try to attempt them to get good experience before you take the actual examination. We are also providing free previous papers for XAT, SNAP, CAT, all of the important MBA examinations. You can download the PDF completely for free. If you are having any doubts with respect to any of the questions which are given in this video, please do comment below the video and I'll look at every doubt and I'll try to answer it to the best of my abilities. Please do like this video and please do subscribe to our channel. In this question, we are given that there are two positive integers a and b such that 1 by a plus 1 by b is equal to 2 by 9 and a is less than b. And we are required to find out the product of all the possible values of a. So in these kind of questions, we'll try to find out the value of one in terms of the other and then try to find out if we can find some sort of a pattern because both of them have to be positive integers. So 1 by a plus 1 by b is equal to 2 by 9 or 1 by b is equal to 2 by 9 minus 1 by a. This will equal 2a minus 9 by 9a. This is the value of 1 by b, or b is equal to 9a by 2a minus 9. Now this has been given to us. We know that both a and b are positive integers and both of them a is less than b. So if you look at the denominator is 2a minus 9. So a has to be greater than 9 by 2, that is 4.5. So the smallest value of a is when a is equal to 5. And in this case, the value of b will be 9a by 2a minus 9. When a is equal to 5, the denominator will be 2 into 5, that is 10 minus 9, that is 1. And the numerator will be 45, 9 into 5. Both of them are positive integers and a is less than b. So this is a valid solution. Now let us see when a is equal to 6, which is the next highest positive number. Then 2a minus 9 when a is equal to 6 will become equal to 3. And the numerator will be 9 into 6 by 3. So this is equal to 18. You would already find some sort of a pattern. The pattern is as a is increasing, the value of b is decreasing. So at some point a will become greater than b and from then on we can ignore all the values. So in this case, for example, when a is 6, b is 18 and a is less than b, both are positive integers. So this is also a valid solution. When a is equal to 7, the value of b will become 9 into 7 by 2 into 7 minus 9. We are just substituting the value of 7 in the given equation. So this will be 63 by 2 into 7 is 14, 14 minus 9 is 5. So the value of b will become 63 by 5. This is not an integer, so this is not a valid solution. The next number will be when a is equal to 8 and the value of b will be 9 into 8 by 2 into 8 minus 9. So the numerator is 72 and the denominator is 2 into 8, that is 16 minus 9, that is 7. 72 by 7 again is not a positive integer, so this is also not valid. Now when you make a equal to 9, b will become 9 into 9 by 2 into 9 minus 9. So this will become 81 by 2 into 9 is 18 minus 9 is 9. So this will equal 9. Both of them are positive integers, but in this case a is equal to b, a is not less than b. So this is also not a valid solution, and as you can guess, as you keep increasing a, the value of b will become less than 9. That is, for example, if you look at a is equal to 10, the value of b will become 9 into 10 by 2 into 10, that is 20 minus 9, that is 11. So this is 90 by 11. This is actually something like around 8.118. So when a becomes 10, the value of b will become 8.18 and this will continue to go down as a keeps on going up. So all the other possible values are not valid. So the only two possible values of a for which the given equation holds true such that both a and b are positive integers and a is less than b is a is equal to 5 and a is equal to 6 and their product is equal to 30. This is the answer. In this question, we are told that there are 5 students, including Amit, who appeared in an examination and they scored marks between 0 and 50, both of them inclusive. We are told that exactly 3 of the students scored more than 32 and the average of the 5 students is 38. We are required to calculate the maximum possible marks of Amit, who scored the least, and the minimum possible marks of Amit, and we are required to calculate the difference between these 2 marks. Let us first calculate the minimum possible score for Amit. What is the information that we know? The average of the 5 students is 38. So the total marks of the 5 students is 38 into 5, which is equal to 190. We have 32 over here. More than 32, we have only 3 people. Now we are trying to minimize the score for Amit in the first case. So we have to maximize the score of the remaining 4 people. Because the total is fixed, the total is 190. If you are trying to maximize the scores of the remaining 4 people, the first guy, the highest guy, will score 50, which is the maximum allowed. Because the scores are distinct, the second highest will be 49. And the third highest will be 48. Now the fourth highest, because only 3 people scored more than 32, this guy will score exactly 32, the fourth highest, because there is also a condition that only 3 people scored more than 32. Now what is the maximum possible sum of these 4 scores? That will be 50 plus 49 plus 48 plus 32. 32 plus 48 is 80, 50 plus 49 is 99. So the sum of these 4 scores, the maximum possible sum is 179. So the minimum possible score for Amit is 190 minus 179, which is equal to 11. Now let us try to maximize Amit's score. Maximizing the score for Amit is actually much more easier, because the only condition that we have to keep in mind is that only 3 people scored more than 32. So if you are looking at the maximum possible score for Amit, this is the maximum possible score for Amit. This is maximized if the fourth highest score, that is this guy, scores 32 and Amit scores just 1 less, which is 31. Now the sum of their 2 scores is 63, which is 31 plus 32. So these remaining 3 guys have to score 127. And this can be done in multiple ways. One simple example is, because 127 is the average will be around 42.33. We can say that this guy scored 41, this guy scored 42, and the highest is 44. These 3 will sum up to 127. As you can imagine, there are multiple cases possible. This can be 40, this can be 45. We are just required to ensure that the top 3 guys, all of them score above 32, all of them score distinct numbers, and their sum has to equal 127, which is possible in multiple ways. In this particular case, the maximum possible value for Amit is 31. So the difference between the maximum possible and minimum possible score of Amit is 31 minus 11, which is equal to 20, which is option D. In this question, we are told that there is a school which has less than 5,000 students, and if the number of students are divided equally into either 9 or 10 or 12 or 25 teams, then there are exactly 4 which are always left. So what this means is, if you assume that the number of students is equal to S, and if you deduct 4 from S, that is S minus 4, S minus 4 is a multiple of 9, it is a multiple of 10, it is a multiple of 12, it is a multiple of 25. So S minus 4 is a multiple of the LCM of 9, 10, 12 and 25. What is the least common multiple? That is the smallest number, which is a multiple of 9, 10, 12 and 25. The smallest multiple of 9 and 12 is 36. The smallest multiple of 10 and 25 is 100. So we have to find out the smallest multiple of 36 and 100. You can figure out that the smallest multiple of 36 and 100 is equal to 900. You can do that because you can essentially divide 36 into 4 into 9. And you know that 4 is a factor of 100, so it won't matter. So that number, which is a least common multiple, has to be a multiple of 9 and 100, which is 900. So S minus 4 is a multiple of 900 and S is less than 5000. So the possible values for S are either 904 or 1804 or 2704 or 3604 or 4504. Now we are told that if the students are divided into teams of 11 each, no one is left. That is, one of these has to definitely be a multiple of 11. That will be the value of S. Which of them is a multiple of 11? To calculate if a number is a multiple of 11, the easiest thing to do is to figure out the sum of the digits in the even numbers and sum of the digits in the odd places. If the difference between both of these sums is a multiple of 11, the entire number will be a multiple of 11. Here, for example, 904 is not a multiple of 11. because the sum of the digits in the odd places is 9 plus 4, which is 13, which is not a multiple of 11. Here the sum of the digits in the odd places is 1 and the sum of the digits in the even places is 8 plus 4, which is 12. 12 minus 1 is equal to 11, which is a multiple of 11. So this is a multiple of 11. If you're looking at the next one, 2 plus 0 is 2, 7 plus 4 is 11, 11 minus 2 is 9, so this is not a multiple of 11. Similarly, this is 3 plus 0, which is 3, and 6 plus 4, which is 10, so the difference is 7, which is not a multiple of 11. In the last case, 4 plus 0 is 4, 5 plus 4 is 9, the difference is 5, so this is not a multiple of 11. The only number which is a multiple of 11 is 1804, which will be the number of students in the school. Now, if they are divided into teams of 12 each, the maximum number of teams that can be formed is the value of 1804 divided by 12, the integer value of it, which is equal to 150. So the answer for this question is 150. In this question, we are told that there is an owner of an art shop and he has a painting and he sells the painting. But before he sells the painting, he initially hikes up the price by X% and then he gives a discount of the same of X% and then he sells. But during the first cycle, he realized that the price has decreased by 441. But once he repeated this cycle again, that is increased the price by X% and decreased it by X%, he realized that the new selling price is 1944.81 and we are required to find out what is the original price of the painting. So let us assume that the original price of the painting is P. After he increased the price by X%, it becomes P into 1 plus X. Now he gives a discount of again X%, so it becomes P into 1 plus X into 1 minus X. Now the difference between the original price, that is P, and the new price, this is given as 441. So if you simplify this, you are going to get P minus P into 1 minus X square is equal to 441, or P into X square is equal to 441. This is one equation. We have a similar equation, that is, if he repeated the cycle again, then he sold the painting for 1944.81. But what will the price be after the second cycle? It will become P into 1 plus X into 1 minus X. This is the price after the first cycle, and again 1 plus X into 1 minus X. This is the price after the second cycle, and this we are told is equal to 1944.81. So again you are going to get another equation P and X, and we are supposed to find out what is the original price of the painting. That is, we are required to find out what is the value of P. So if you look at the second equation, this is P into 1 minus X square into 1 minus X square. This we are told is equal to 1944.81. Now we need to calculate the value of P, so we will eliminate X square from the second equation. From the first equation, X square is equal to 441 by P. So from the second equation, this becomes 1944.81 is equal to P into 1 minus 441 by P into 1 minus 441 by P. So this becomes, the right hand side becomes 441 minus P whole square is equal to 1944.81 into P. You can simplify this as P square minus 882P plus 441 square is equal to 1944.81 P. You can bring P to the other side, so this becomes P square minus 1944.81 plus 881. This becomes 0.81, this is 6, this is 2, this is 8, and this is 2. Minus 2826.81 P plus 441 whole square is equal to 0. Now this is a quadratic equation. There are multiple ways in which you can solve it. You have been given 4 equations, so you can input each of the values into the equation and see which of them is working, or you can just use the formula for solving quadratic equations. For example, the value of P will equal 2826.81 plus square root of 2826.81 whole square minus 4 into 441 whole square divided by 2. This is basically the equation of the quadratic equations, which is, if the quadratic equation is ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, the value of x is equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. Now you can simplify this using the online calculator that will be given in the examination, and you will get the answer as 2756.25. So the correct answer is 2756.25. This question, if you just look at the options also, you will be able to easily solve it. You know that after the second cycle, the price has become 1944.81. So if you assume that P is the original price, after the first price it reduced by 441, so it will be P minus 441. After the second price it would also again decrease. Let us assume that it has decreased by something like X. Now P minus 441 minus say some X1, just to avoid confusion, is given as 1944.81. So the value of P, which is the original price, will be 1944.81 plus 441. So that will be roughly around 2380 approximately, plus X1. Now if you look, X1 is the decrease that he gets during the second cycle. If you look at the options given, this is definitely not B because it is something around 2200. It is definitely not option D because it is just 2000. It is probably not even C because the difference between 2380 and 2500 is just 120. Now something which has gone down by 441 in the first cycle would not go down by just 120 in the second cycle. So you can just check for that also. For example, you can input 2500 in the option in the given quadratic equation and find out that it won't work. Or by just looking at the options, you know that there is an excellent chance that it will be 2756 because the difference between 2756 and 2380, which is the value of X1, will be approximately again 380. So this intuitively seems correct that the first time the price has gone down by 440 and the second time it has gone down by 380. So probably this is correct. So you can even approach it this way where you have very good speed, but the accuracy is not excellent, but it is still fairly good. So even by looking at the options, you can get A, or you can solve it completely like we have solved now and get the answer as A, which is 2756. In this question, we are asked to calculate the average of all the 3-digit terms which are part of the arithmetic progression 38, 55, 72 and so on. Whenever you are asked to calculate the average of an arithmetic progression, the easiest way to calculate the average is to calculate the first term and calculate the last term and take their average. The average of an arithmetic progression is the average of the first term and the last term. This arithmetic progression is 38, 55, 72 and so on. So the difference is 17. So each term of this arithmetic progression is of the form 17 into k plus 4. Because 38 is 34 plus 4. 34 is a multiple of 17. Then you add 17 to it. 55 will come. 55 is 51 plus 4. Then you get 72. 72 is 68 plus 4. So every term is of the form 17k plus 4. What is the smallest 3-digit number which is part of this arithmetic progression? The smallest 3-digit number will be, the smallest multiple of 17 is 102. So the smallest multiple will be 106. So we'll have 106 in it, then we'll have 123 in it, then we'll have 140 in it and so on. What is the largest 3-digit number which will be part of this arithmetic progression? The easiest way to calculate it is find out a multiple of 17 which is close to 1000. The first thing that comes to mind is 17 into 60 which is 1020. So one number which is part of this arithmetic progression will be 1024. But this is a 4-digit number. So we'll remove 17 from it. We'll have 1007. This also is a 4-digit number. We'll remove another 17 from it. So the last 3-digit number will be 990. So the arithmetic progression, which has only 3 digits, will be 106, 123, 140, till 990. The average of this arithmetic progression is the average of the first term and the last term, which will be equal to 106 plus 990 divided by 2. This is equal to 1096 divided by 2, which is equal to 548. So the answer for this question is 548. In this question, we are given a quadratic equation x squared plus a plus 3 into x minus a plus 5 is equal to 0, and we are required to find out the minimum possible value of the sum of the squares of this quadratic equation. Now notice that we don't know the value of a. A is a variable, but it will vary such that we want to minimize the sum of the squares. So let us assume that the roots of the equation are alpha and beta. By the properties of quadratic equations, we know that alpha plus beta is equal to a plus 3 minus of a plus 3. Remember that if there is a quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, the sum of the roots is equal to minus b by a, and the product of the roots is equal to c by a. When the given equation is x square plus a plus 3x minus of a plus 5 is equal to 0, a is the quotient of x square. So in this formula, a will equal 1, b will equal minus of a plus 3, b will equal a plus 3, b is the coefficient of x, and c is the constant term. This will equal minus of a plus 5. So the sum of the roots, which is alpha plus beta, is minus b by a. In this case, that will equal minus of a plus 3. And the product of the roots equals alpha into beta, which is c by a. Now c is minus a by 5 and a is 1. So the product of the roots is minus of a plus 5. What we are required to find out is minimizing the sum of the squares. That is, we need to minimize alpha square plus beta square. But alpha square plus beta square is equal to alpha plus beta whole square minus 2 alpha beta. Now alpha plus beta whole square will be a plus 3 whole square. And minus of 2 alpha beta will be minus of 2 into minus of a plus 5. So this will be minus of 2 into minus a plus 5. So here we can cancel both the negatives. Negative into negative is positive. So this will equal a square plus 6a plus 9 plus 2a plus 10. Or this will equal a square plus 8a plus 19. This is the expression that we have to minimize. Now we can easily complete the squares. You know that the coefficient of a is 8. So we can complete the square by making this 8 by 4 whole square, a plus 8 by 2 whole square. So this will be a square plus 8a plus 16 plus 3. 8 square plus 8a plus 16 is a plus 4 whole square plus 3. Now we know that a plus 4 whole square cannot be negative. So the minimum value of the sum of the squares is 3, which happens when a is equal to minus 4. So the minimum possible value of the sum of the squares is 3. In this question we have mentioned that there are 5 companies C1, C2, C3, C4 and C5. The profits made by C1, C2, C3 are in the ratio 9:10:8. So the profits of C1 is to C2 is to C3 are in the ratio 9:10:8. We are also told that the profits made by C2, C4 and C5 are in the ratio 18:19:20. We are then told that C5 has made a profit of 19 crores more than C1, and we are required to find out the total profit made by all the 5 companies together. So to solve this, we first need the common ratio. What is C1 is to C2 is to C3 is to C4 is to C5. Once we have the common ratio, then we can equate the profits made by C1 and the profits made by C5 and calculate the exact profits made by all the 5 companies. Now in this case, if you look at it, C2 is the common term. That is 10 and 18 in the first and second ratios have to be equated. We know that the LCM of 10 and 18 is 90. So we will multiply the first ratio by 9 and we will multiply the second ratio by 5. Then C2 term in both the ratios will become 90. Then we can combine all the ratios. For example, after you multiply the first ratio by 9, you are going to get C1 is to C2 is to C3 is equal to 81 is to 90 is to 72. Now when you multiply the second ratio by 5, you are going to get C2 is to C4 is to C5 will be 90 is to 95 is to 100. Notice that the value of C2 in both the ratios is 90. So now you can combine both the ratios. So C1 is to C2 is to C3 is to C4 is to C5 can now be combined as 81 is to 90 is to 72 is to directly 95 is to 100. So let us assume that C1 is 81x, C2 is 90x, C3 is 72x, C4 is 95x and C5 is 100x, C4 is 95x. Now we are told that C5 has made 19 crores more than C1. So C5 minus C1 will be 100x, this one, minus 81x, which is the first term. This is equal to 19x. This we are told is equal to 19 crores or x is equal to 1. So the profits made by each one of the companies is 81 crores, 90 crores, 72 crores, 95 crores and 100 crores. So the total profit made by all the 5 companies will be just summing all of these up. That is 81 plus 90 plus 72 plus 95 plus 100. 81 plus 90 is 171. 171 plus 72 is 243. 243 plus 95 is 338 plus 100 is 438. In this question, we are told that there are 3 sides of a quadrilateral. They are given to be 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter and 4 centimeter. We are asked to calculate what are the possible lengths of the fourth side if that is an integer, and these 4 make up a quadrilateral. If you have 4 sides of a quadrilateral such that A is less than or equal to, B is less than or equal to, C is less than or equal to D, the sum of the smallest 3 sides, A plus B plus C, has to be strictly greater than the largest side. Only then will the 4 lengths be part of the sides of a quadrilateral. If it is either equal or less than, then they cannot form a quadrilateral. So can the length of the fourth side be equal to 1 centimeter? In that case, the sum of these 3 will be 1 plus 1 plus 2, which is equal to 4 centimeters, which is the same as the length of the largest side. So that is not allowed, or 1 centimeter is not allowed. Can it be 2 centimeters? 1 centimeter is not allowed. If 2 centimeters, the sum of these 2 is 3 centimeters plus 2 is 5 centimeters, which is greater than 4 centimeters. So 2 centimeters is allowed. If you are looking at 3 centimeters, the sum of 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6 centimeters, which is greater than 4 centimeters. So 3 centimeters is again allowed. If you are looking at 4 centimeters, the length of the fourth side is 4, then 1 plus 2 plus 4 is 7 centimeters, which is greater than 4 centimeters. So 4 centimeters is also allowed. If you are looking at 5 centimeters, then suddenly 5 centimeters, this is the unknown side becomes the largest side. The sum of the smallest 3 sides will be 1 plus 2 plus 4, which is 7 centimeters. 7 centimeters is greater than 5 centimeters, so this also is allowed. Similarly, the unknown side can even be 6 centimeters because the sum of the smallest 3 sides will remain 7 centimeters, so 6 centimeters will also be allowed. But the fourth side cannot be 7 centimeters or more, because the sum of the 3 smallest sides in this particular case will remain 7 centimeters. So the fourth side cannot be 7 centimeters because then we will have the sum of the 3 smallest sides to be either equal to or less than the fourth side. That is not allowed. So the values that the fourth side can take, the integral values are 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, which is 5. It can take 5 values. In this question, there is a company. It has 2 types of employees, managers and workers. So they are managers and they are workers. A manager takes 4 times the salary of a worker. So salary wise, manager is 4:1. Initially, the ratio of the number of managers to workers is 1:4. If you are looking at the number, it is 1:4. More workers were hired such that their number doubled, but the company decided to keep the total salary of its employees the same. So after some point, their number doubled, so 4 more were added. If the ratio of the salaries of the manager and worker remained the same, what is the percentage decrease in the salary of the manager? So let us assume that initially there were 10 managers and 40 workers, and their salary is say 4:1. So the total salary of all of them will be 40 for the managers and 40 for the workers. So the total salary would be 80. Now instead of 40 workers, you are having 80 workers. So there are 40 managers and there are 80 workers, but the ratio of their salaries remains the same. So if the salary of a worker is K, the salary of a manager is 4K, and their sum will equal 80. So the number of managers remains 10. So the total salary of the managers is 40K, but the number of workers, instead of 40, now it is 80, and their salary is K. So 40K plus 80K is equal to 80, because the total salary is the same. or k is equal to 80 by 120, which is equal to 2 by 3. Therefore, the salary of a manager is 4k. The new salary of a manager is 4k, which is equal to 8 by 3. Therefore, the percentage decrease in the salary of the manager will be 4, which is his initial salary, minus 8 by 3 by 4. This is equal to 4 by 3 by 4, which is equal to 1 by 3. So, the correct answer is 1 by 3, which is 33.33%. This is the answer. In this question, it is given that there is a circle and the center of the circle is in the first quadrant. So, if you draw the y-axis and the x-axis, this is the first quadrant, this is the second quadrant, this is the third quadrant, and this is the fourth quadrant. So, the center of the circle is in the first quadrant and it touches the x-axis at x is equal to 5. Let us assume that this is x is equal to 5. So, the circle will be something like this. Now, because this is touching the x-axis at x is equal to 5, if you draw a line which is connecting the center of the circle and the point at which x-axis touches the circle, this will be perpendicular because this is a tangent, and because this is x is equal to 5, so this will be 5 comma 0. The center of the circle will be something like 5 comma y, where y is the radius of the circle. So, the center of the circle is of the form 5 comma y. What should be the radius of the circle such that it touches another line which is 4x minus 3y is equal to 0. So, suppose this is the line 4x minus 3y is equal to 0. Now, we are told that the line 4x minus 3y is equal to 0 is also a tangent to the given circle. That is, again, if you draw a line which is connecting, which is perpendicular to the line 4x minus 3y, that will be a tangent. How do you know that it will be a tangent? So, whenever you are connecting the point to a line, and if you are drawing a circle, the way we can identify that a particular line is a tangent to a circle is if you connect the center of the circle O to that given line by drawing a perpendicular, and the distance of the length of the perpendicular should equal the radius of the circle. So, what we will do over here is from the point 5 comma y, we will calculate the distance. By distance, we just mean the length of the perpendicular from this point to the line 4x minus 3y is equal to 0. Now, once you get that length, we have to equate the length to equal the radius of the circle. Only in that case will the given line be a tangent. So, we will first calculate the length of the perpendicular, that is the perpendicular distance of the line from the point, and then equate it to the radius. The radius of the circle we already know is equal to y. And what is the length of the perpendicular? There is another formula, useful formula that you should remember. If there is a point x1 comma y1, and if you want to calculate the length of the perpendicular from this point to a line ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, you have to substitute ax1 plus by1 plus c, the modulus of it, that is the absolute value of it, divided by square root of a square plus b square, where a is the coefficient of x and b is the coefficient of y. We will use the same formula over here. So, to calculate the distance of the center to the line, and we are equating it to the radius is y. To calculate the distance, we will just use this given formula, and this will equal modulus of 4 into x1. What is x1? x1 is 5 plus b, in this case b is minus 3. So, minus 3 into y1. What is y1? We have assumed that that equals a variable y, and we want to calculate the value of y, plus c. There is no constant term in the given line. The line passes through origin, so it is 4x minus 3y is equal to 0. So, the constant term c is 0 plus 0 divided by square root of a square plus b square. In this case a is equal to 4, so square root of 4 square plus b square. B square is minus 3, so square of b square is 3 square. Square root of 4 square plus 3 square is 5. So, we can simplify the given equation as 5y is equal to modulus of 20 minus 3y. Now, there are two cases. To remove the modulus, we will equate it to plus or minus of the left hand side. So, case 1 is 20 minus 3y is equal to 5y, and the other case is 20 minus 3y is equal to minus 5y. Now you can easily calculate that this equals 8y is equal to 20 or y is equal to 20 by 8. This is equal to 5 by 2. In the second case, 20 is equal to minus 2y or y is equal to minus 10. But we know that y cannot equal minus 10 because we are told that the center is in the first quadrant. So both the points, both the coordinates have to be greater than 0, that is 5 and y, both of them have to be greater than 0. So the case where y is equal to minus 10 is ruled out. So the only possible value for y is 5 by 2, and when y is 5 by 2, that is equal to the radius of the circle, which we have to calculate. So the correct answer is that the radius of the circle will equal 5 by 2.
Google search Krakows XAT mock test series. Click on the link. After completing the test, you'll be getting detailed solutions, analysis, percentile along with your scorecard to gauge your All India performance.
In this question, it is given that points A, P, Q and B lie on the same line such that P, Q and B are respectively 100, 200 and 300 kilometers away from A. So suppose this is A and this is the straight line. Now it is given that AP is 100 kilometers and AQ is 200 kilometers. So Q will be another 100 kilometers and this is Q, and AB is 300 kilometers, so QB will be another 100 kilometers. Now cars 1 and 2 leave A at the same time and move towards B. So this is car 1 and this is car 2. Both of them are going towards B. Simultaneously car 3 leaves B and moves towards A. So at the same time car 3 starts from B and goes towards A. Car 3 meets car 1 at Q. So at Q 1 and 3 meet, and car 2 at P. So at P 2 and 3 meet. If each car is moving in the uniform speed, then the ratio of car 2 to car 1 is. So we are required to find out the speed of car 2 divided by the speed of car 1. We have information about where 1 and 3 have met, and we have information about where 2 and 3 have met. So let us first calculate the ratio of the speeds of car 3 to car 1. We will also calculate the ratio of the speeds of car 3 to car 2 and then try to find out the ratio of the speeds of car 2 to car 1. Now because at the same time both the cars 3 and car 1 have started and they meet at Q, in the time where car 3 has gone from B to Q, that is 100 kilometers, car A has gone 200 kilometers in the same time. Therefore speed of car 3 by speed of car 1 is equal to 100 kilometers, which is the distance that car 3 has travelled, that is from B to Q, by 200 kilometers, which is the distance that car 1 has travelled, which is from A to Q. This is equal to 1 by 2. Similarly, in the time when car 3 has gone from B to P, that is it has travelled 200 kilometers, car 2 has travelled from A to P, that is 100 kilometers. Therefore, speed of car 3 by speed of car 2 is equal to 200 kilometers, which is the distance that car 3 has travelled, by 100 kilometers, which is the distance that car 2 has travelled in the same time. So this is equal to 2 by 1. Now what are we required to find out? We are required to find out speed of car 2 by speed of car 1. So what we will do is we will divide the first equation by the second equation. This way we are cancelling off speed of car 3. So what it becomes is speed of car 2 by speed of car 1 is equal to 1 by 2 whole divided by 2, which is equal to 1 by 4. Therefore, the required ratio is 1:4. In this question, we are given an isosceles trapezium. It is circumscribed over a circle, and we are also given the ratio of its non-parallel sides. It is given that it is 3:1, and we are also given the perimeter of the trapezium as 16 centimeters, and we have to find the area of the trapezium in square centimeters. For this, it looks like first let us draw the diagram of how the trapezium is looking and the circle, and looks like from the face of it, if we can find the lengths of all the sides of the trapezium, we should be able to find the area of the trapezium. So first let us draw a circle. Then there is a trapezium. Assume that this is the isosceles trapezium. Now suppose this is x and this is x and this is x and this is x. They are all x because they are all tangents starting from the same point, and it's an isosceles trapezium. So all these are x. So the length of this side is 2x. It has been given that the other parallel side is 3 times this one. So the length of this is 6x. So this is equal to 3x and this will be equal to 3x. As all these are from the same point, these are 2 tangents, this will also be 3x and this will also be 3x. So the length of this side is 4x, the length of this side is also 4x. This is what has been given to us. You can draw the diagram on your own and you can come to these conclusions. Now the trapezium, the perimeter of the trapezium is 4x plus 6x, that is 10x, plus 4x, that is 14x, plus 2x, that is 16x. We are given that 16x is equal to 16 centimeters or x is equal to 1 centimeter. So now we know the all the sides of the trapezium. If we just draw the trapezium once again to find its area, it will look something like this. So this is 4, this is 4, this is 2 and this is 6. Now to find the area we need to find the height of the trapezium, that is this height. Because these are parallel lines, this when this is 2, this will also be 2, and as this is 6, these two will be equal, these two sides, and they will be equal to 6 minus 2 by 2, that is this is 2 and this is 2. This we know. Now we need to find the value of h. This is a right angle triangle. So because this is a right angle triangle, h square plus 2 square is equal to 4 square, which is equal to 16, or h is equal to root of 12, which is equal to 2 root 3. Now to find the area of the trapezium, area of trapezium, we have to find the average of the parallel sides. Here the parallel sides are 2 and 6, so their average will be half of 2 plus 6 into the height of the trapezium, this is 2 root 3. This will be equal to half of 2 plus 6 is 4 into 2 root 3, this will equal 8 root 3. So the answer is 8 root 3. In this question we have just used a couple of things. First is the length of the tangents from the same point to a circle are the same. We have used it multiple times. So for example, from this point, this side is 3x, this side is 3x. Similarly from this point, this side is x and this side is x. Once we know that all of them are the same, you can calculate the perimeter and find the values of each of the sides of the trapezium. Once you do that, we have just used another simple formula of area of trapezium, which is equal to the average of the parallel sides. Here the parallel side is 2 and the parallel side here is 6. So their average is 4 into the height of the trapezium, which is 2 root 3. In this question we are told that there are real numbers t1, t2, t3, etc., such that t1 plus t2 plus t3 plus dot 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 till tn is equal to 2n square plus 9n plus 13, and this is true for all positive integers n greater than or equal to 2. We are told that tk is equal to 103 and we are required to find out the value of k. So whenever you are given a sum of this sort and a equation of this sort, we will try to find out the value of tn. That is quite easy to find out. So we know that t1 plus t2 plus t3 plus dot 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 plus tn minus 1 plus tn is equal to 2n square plus 9n plus 13. Now what we will do is we will try to find out the value of t1 plus t2 plus dot 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 plus Tn minus 1, and then we can subtract both of them to find out the value of Tn. And finding this out is actually quite easy. Now we know that T1 plus T2 plus T3 plus dot 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 plus T of n minus 1 is actually equal to 2 into n minus 1 whole square plus 9 into n minus 1 plus 13. What we have done is just substituted n minus 1 in place of n, because we are told that this is true for all positive integers n greater than or equal to 1. If this should be true, we will just substituting n minus 1 in place of n. Now if you subtract both of them, you are going to get Tn in the left hand side. So this equals 2n square plus 9n plus 13 minus of 2 into n minus 1 whole square plus 9 into n minus 1 plus 13. Let us simplify the RHS over here. This is equal to 2n square minus 2n plus 1 plus 9 into n minus 1 plus 13. So if you subtract both the equations on the right hand side, you are going to get 2n square plus 9n plus 13 minus of 2n square minus 4n plus 2 plus 9n minus 9 plus 13. Now you can cancel 2n square on both sides, you can cancel 9n on both sides, and you can cancel 13 on both sides. So this will equal 4n plus 7. This is the value of Tn for all values of n. Now if we are told that for a particular value of k, Tk is equal to 103, Tk is equal to 4k plus 7. This we know from the equation that we have just derived. And if this equals 103, it would imply that 4k is equal to 103 minus 7, that is 96, or k is equal to 96 by 4, which is equal to 24. So in this case, the answer is 24, and this question is easily solved once we figure out that by substituting n minus 1 in place of n, we will find out the value of Tn for all values of n, and we can substitute 4k plus 7 equals 103 to find the value of k. In this question it is given that there is a tank and it has two taps attached to it. Tap A fills the tank in 10 hours and tap B empties the tank in 12 hours. So to make calculations easy, let us first find out the LCM of 10 and 12. The LCM of 10 and 12 is 60. So let us assume that the volume of the tank is a multiple of 60, because in this question we need to look at different minutes. Let us assume that the volume of the tank is 60 into 60, which is equal to 3600. We just chose a big number which is a big multiple of 60 because we want to make calculations easy when we are calculating how much water is filled in by A and B per minute. So tap A fills the tank in 10 hours. The volume of the tank we assumed is equal to 3600 liters. So every hour tap A fills in 360 liters. This is per hour. Therefore every minute tap A fills in 6 liters. Similarly, if you are looking at tap B, it will empty 5 liters every minute, because it takes 12 hours to empty 3600 liters. Every hour it is emptying 300 liters, or every minute it is emptying 5 liters. Now both the taps are not open at the same time. Both the taps follow a different cycle of opening and closing. If you look at the opening and closing schedule of both the taps, let us draw a line so that it makes things easy to understand. Tap A follows a cycle of 30 minutes of opening and 30 minutes of closing. So if you are looking at A, it follows 30 minutes of opening and 30 minutes of closing. That is, it has a cycle of 1 hour. Tap B follows a cycle of 45 minutes of opening plus 45 minutes of closing. That is, its cycle is for 1.5 hours. Therefore, if you are looking at A and B together, their cycle goes on for 3 hours, which is the LCM of 1 and 1.5 hours. First A will open and close for 30 minutes each, so that is for 1 hour. B will do the same for 1.5 hours, and they keep on repeating, and as a whole the two pipes A and B repeat this cycle for 3 hours after every 3 hours. So the first 30 minutes both A and B are open, and after 30 minutes A is closed but B continues to be open for another 15 minutes. After 45 minutes B is closed and A is also already closed. So both the taps are closed till 60 minutes, and after 60 minutes A is open again, and A remains open till 90 minutes. At this point only A is open, and after 90 minutes A closes and then B opens, and only B is open till 120 minutes. Because another 30 minutes have passed, now both A also gets open, and A and B will be open for 15 minutes. So this is 135, after which B is closed and A remains open for another 15 minutes. This is at 150, and after 150 minutes both of them are closed for the next 30 minutes. And after 180 minutes, again as we have discussed, the cycle restarts. So this cycle continues after every 3 hours. Now let us try to understand how much water is filled in each of these intervals. In the if in an interval A plus B, both of them are open, the effective water that is filled in per minute is only 1 liter, because A fills in 6 liters per minute and B empties 5 liters per minute. If only A is open, then the amount of water that is filled in is 6 liters, and if only B is open, the amount of water that is emptied out is minus 5 liters. Basically 5 liters are emptied out. So if you are looking at how much water is filled in this 3-hour cycle, if you are looking at the first cycle, after 30 minutes the water that is filled into the tank is plus 30. From 30 minutes the tank has 30 liters of water, and B empties 5 liters every minute. So after the first 6 minutes the tank is empty. So even though B is open, from 36 to 45 it doesn't do anything. But in a normal cycle, if you think that some water has already been accumulated, the amount of water that is emptied out by B in these 15 minutes will be minus 75. This will not hold true for the first cycle, because after 36 minutes, that is after 6 minutes, the tank becomes empty. But after they continue for some period of time where some water has already accumulated into the tank, in these 15 minutes B will empty 75 liters. From 45 to 60 minutes nobody is working, so there is nothing that changes over here. From 60 to 90 minutes, where 30 minutes have passed and only A is open, the amount of water that is filled in is 6 into 30, which is plus 180. From 90 to 120, the amount of water that is emptied out of the tank by B will be 30 into minus 5, so this is minus 150. From 120 to 135, that is for 15 minutes, both the taps are open, so they will only fill 1 liter per minute, or in 15 minutes they will fill 15 liters. From 135 to 150, that is for 15 minutes, only A is open, so in those 15 minutes it is going to fill in plus 90 liters. So overall, in a normal cycle, other than the first cycle, the amount of water that is filled in by these taps in a matter of 3 hours will be plus 30 minus 75 plus 180 minus 150 plus 15 plus 90. If you calculate it, this is going to be 180 minus 150 is 30, plus 30 is 60, 60 plus 15 is 75, minus 75 is 0. So effectively it is only the last 90 liters that is filled in by both the taps. So in 3 hours they fill in 90 liters. We assume that the overall volume of the tank is 360 liters. So if you are looking for what is the total time that it takes for these taps to fill in the water, you can normally assume this to be equal to 3600 divided by 90 into 3. So you will get this to be around, say, 120 hours, which is basically the total volume 3600 divided by 90 into 3. But in this particular case that won't hold true, because they are not filling they are not filling water into the tank in a uniform manner. First A is filling, then A is closed, then B is filling. So they are not following a straight line of filling water into the tank. They are following some sort of a zigzag method to fill water into the tank. So we will have to be very careful about the extreme values. That is what happens in the first cycle, what happens in the last cycle. Those are values that we have to be very careful, because they are not filling water in a uniform manner. If you are looking at the first cycle, in the first cycle plus 30 liters is filled by A and B, as we have discussed earlier. But after 36 minutes, that is after 6 minutes when B alone is open, the tank becomes empty. Then B will not be doing any work, it will remain idle. So at the end of 60 minutes, the total water that is filled into the tank is 0. The tank is essentially empty. Earlier we have assumed in a normal situation that after 60 minutes, the effective change in the water level would be 30 minus 75, which is minus 45. But in the first case that would not be true, because the effective change will be 0, because the tank will just be empty. And after 90 minutes it will be plus 180. After 120 minutes, it is going to be minus 150, and again everything else remains the same. So after the first cycle, after the first 3 hours, the amount of water that is filled into the tank is 180 minus 150, that is 30, plus 15, so that is 45, plus 90, so that is equal to 135. So after the first 3 hours, 135 liters are filled in. The next 3 hours fill in 90, the next 3 hours fill in another 90, and this continues for some time. We will assume that because we need to fill in a total of 3600 liters, we have already filled in 135 liters, so the remaining water that needs to be filled in is 3465 liters after the first cycle has finished. So let us assume that the 90 liter cycle of 3 hours continues for say 37 times. So 37 into 3 hours is 111 hours. We are just getting the total volume that is filled to be close to 3600. Then we will again manually see how much water is filled in. Again, just to reiterate, the reason we are doing it is because the water is being filled in a zigzag manner. It is not being filled in a straight line manner where we can just use ratio and proportion. So after 37 of these cycles, the total amount of water that is filled into the tank is 135, which is filled in the first 3 hours, plus 37 into 3, which is another 111 hours. And in this 37 cycles, the amount of water that is filled in is 37 into 90. This is equal to 3330, or the total amount of water that is filled into the tank after 114 hours in total is 3330 plus 135, which is equal to 3465. We still need to fill in another 135 liters. Now let us look at what will happen after the first 30 minutes. After another 0.5 hours, 30 liters are filled in, so the total volume in the tank is 3495. After another 15 minutes, 75 liters are emptied. So after another 0.25 hours, the volume in the tank will be 3495 minus 75, so that is 3420. Then the tank is empty for 15 minutes, so another 0.25, nothing happens. The tank, the water level doesn't change because both A and B are not opening. In the next 30 minutes, only A is open and A fills in 180 liters. So after another 0.5 hours, from 3420 you add another 180, so the water level becomes 3600. So at this point the tank is completely full. So how much time has elapsed? It is 114 plus 5 plus 0.5, so 114.05 plus 0.25, 0.25 and 0.5 is another 1 hour. So the total time it takes is 115.5 hours. In this question, we are told that Amal buys 110 kgs of syrup and 120 kgs of juice, and the cost of the syrup is 20% less than the cost of juice. Let us assume that the cost of juice is rupees X per kg. So the cost of syrup is equal to rupees 0.8 X per kg because it is 20% lesser. He bought 110 kgs of syrup and 120 kgs of juice. So the total cost price of this mixture will be equal to 120x plus 110 into 0.8, which is 88x, which is equal to 208x. This is the total cost price. And what is the total selling price? He sold 10 kgs of the syrup and he sold 20 kgs of the juice. Juice he sold at 1.2x, he made a profit of 20%. And the syrup he sold for 10% profit. 10% profit on 0.8x will be 0.88x. So by selling this, he made 10 into 0.88, which is 8.8x, plus 20 into 1.2x, which is 24x. So this is equal to 32.8x. And in addition to it, what did he make? He also sold the remaining. What is the remaining? 20 kgs of the 120 kg juice is sold. So 100 kgs of juice is left. And 10 kgs of the 110 kg syrup is sold. So 100 kgs of syrup is left. So this 200 kgs he sold at 308.32 per kg. So there he made 308.32 into 200 rupees. Plus in the 30 kgs he made 32.8x rupees. This he made an overall profit of 64%. The total cost price is 208x. So this is equal to 208x into 1.64. you will notice that 208x into 1.64 minus 32.8x is equal to 308.32x. The question and the numbers have been designed in such a way that we can actually cancel 308.32, or the value of x is equal to 200. What are we asked to calculate? We are asked to calculate the cost price of the syrup, which is equal to 0.8x, which will be 0.8 into 200, which is equal to 160 rupees. That will be the answer. In this question, we are told that Pk is to Kq is 3 is to 5. So this is 3 is to 5, and PL is to LR is 5 is to 7. So this is 5 is to 7. Then the ratio of the area of triangle KSQ, that is this one, and triangle LSR, that is this one, is what? That is what we are supposed to find out. So what we'll do is we'll try to understand what is the ratio of the different areas of the smaller triangles that are present. So before we get started, let us assume that if you have a triangle like this, and if there is a line drawn from one of the vertices to another vertex which divides the third side in the ratio P is to Q, then the area of the two triangles which are so formed are also in the ratio of P is to Q. Why is that the case? Because if you are assuming that the sides are A, B, C and D, the height of ABD, the triangle ABD, and the height of triangle ACD, the height of both of these triangles is the same, because the base is the same and the third vertex is also the same. So whatever is the perpendicular height from the base to the third vertex will always be the same. The only thing that will vary when you are trying to calculate the areas of the two triangles is the length of the base. In ABD, the length of the base is P times some constant, and in AC, the length of the base is Q times another constant. So if you are trying to calculate the area, which is half into base into height, because height is the same for both the triangles, the area will be in the ratio of their respective bases. That is the same concept we will be using over here. So if you are looking at the triangles PSK and triangle KSQ, the areas of these three triangles will be in the ratio 3 is to 5, because that is the length of their bases. So let us assume that the length, the area of PSK is 3x and the area of KSQ will then be equal to 5x. Similarly, if you are looking at triangles LSP and triangle LSR, the ratio of the areas of these two triangles will be in the ratio 5 is to 7. So let us assume that this is 5y, so this will be equal to 7y. Now the bottom triangle, which is SQR, let us assume that the area of this triangle is equal to A, which is a third number. What we are now trying to do is, again we will use the same concept and try to calculate the ratio of x is to y. Once we calculate the ratio of x is to y, we can easily calculate the area of KSQ to LSR. What is area of KSQ? This will be equal to 5x divided by area of LSR is 7y. We are supposed to output or give the answer as equal to 5x by 7y. So we just need to know what is the ratio of x is to y. Now if you are looking at the areas of the larger triangles, that is area of RQK and area of RKP, again they will be in the ratio 5 is to 3, because this is the larger triangle. The larger triangle is PQR, and the line RQ divides the base in the ratio 3 is to 5. So again their areas will be in the ratio 3 is to 5. But what is the area of RQR? If you RQK, this is equal to 5x plus A divided by 3x plus 12y. This is equal to 5 by 3. Or if you simplify this, you are going to get, you can cancel 3. So 5x plus A is equal to 5x plus 4 plus 20y. You can cancel x. So the value of A is equal to 20y. We will again use a similar concept. In this case, we will consider the triangles QPQL and triangle RQL. That is again in the larger triangle PQR. Now we are considering the line QL, which is dividing the third side in the ratio 5:7. So again the ratio of these two triangles should be in the ratio 5:7. But what is the area of PQL? That is equal to 8x, that is 5x plus 3x plus 5y. So 8x plus 5y divided by, this is a plus 7y is in the ratio 5:7. So now if you cross multiply, you are going to get 56x plus 35y is equal to 5a plus 35y. You can cancel it, or a is equal to 56 by 5x. Now you know the value of a in terms of x, you know the value of a in terms of y, so you can easily calculate the ratio of x by y. So 56x by 5 is equal to 20y, or x by y is equal to 100y, 20y into 5, 100y divided by 56, or this is equal to 25 by 14, because y comes to the denominator on the other side. So this is 100 by 56, which is 25 by 14. So x by y is equal to 25 by 14. What we are supposed to output is 5x by 7y. So 5x by 7y will equal 125, which is 5 into 25, by 7 into 14, which is 98. So the required ratio of areas is 125:98. In this question, we have Amal, who invested 12,000 rupees at 8% interest and 10,000 rupees at 6% interest, compounded semi-annually. Now Bimal invested his money at 7.5% simple interest. The interest on both of them are the same, so we are required to find out how much Bimal has invested. That's the question. So let us find out the interest that Amal has earned. Then we will equate it with the interest that Bimal has earned and calculate the principal. For Amal, first it is 12,000 rupees for 1 year into 8% interest. So this is the amount the 12,000 becomes at the end of 1 year. Whereas the 10,000, because it is invested at 6% interest, compounded semi-annually, this will effectively become 3% interest for 2 years. So whenever somebody says that he has invested r% for n years, the amount becomes 1 plus r by 100 to the power n. This is simple compound interest when the interest is compounded annually. But say if somebody says he has invested p rupees at r% interest compounded semi-annually for n years, the effective rate of interest will become r by 2 and the total time becomes 2n. So in that case, the principal will become p into 1 plus r by 2 by 100 to the power 2n. In this case, the interest is halved and the duration is multiplied. So this is the total amount that Amal will receive at the end of 1 year. 12,000 into 1.08 plus 10,000 into 1.03 into 1.03. You can use your calculator to figure out that this total will be 23569. Now the initial principal is 12,000 plus 10,000, which is equal to 22,000. This is the principal and this is the amount. Therefore, the interest that Amal got, Amal's interest will equal 23569 minus 22,000, which is equal to 1569. Now this is the interest that Bimal also earned. Suppose his principal is P. By investing at 7.5% simple interest for 1 year. This is the interest. This is equal to 1569. Here you can multiply and find out that P is equal to 1569 into 100 by 7.5. Again you can use your calculator to find out that the answer will be 20920. So the answer in this case is 20920. The only sort of complication in this question is understanding what semi-annual means. In case of semi-annual compounding, just divide the interest by half and multiply the time period by 2, and then you can do it as normal compound interest. In this question we are asked for what value of a will the equation a square minus 9 into x square minus a square plus 2a minus 3 into x plus a square plus a minus 6 is equal to 0 will have more than 2 solutions. This seems a little tricky at first sight, because normally whenever you have a quadratic equation of the form ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, you would think that this has at most two solutions. So when can a quadratic equation have more than two solutions? This will happen only if this is a tautology. That is, for any value of x, the left hand side should equal 0. That will happen if the coefficient of x square is equal to 0, that is a is equal to 0. At the same time, the coefficient of x should also equal 0, that is b should also equal 0, and the constant term c, that also should equal 0. In this case, for whatever value of x, ax square will equal 0, plus bx will also equal 0, plus c also will equal 0. So this quadratic equation will have more than two solutions. So in the given equation, we'll do the same thing. We'll equate the value of the coefficient of x square, the coefficient of x, and the constant term. All three of them should simultaneously equal 0. The coefficient of x square is a square minus 9 is equal to 0. This will happen if a is equal to 3 or a is equal to minus 3. So the first condition is that a should be either 3 or a should be minus 3. The second condition is that the coefficient of x should equal 0. This would happen if a square plus 2a minus 3 is equal to 0. This is a quadratic equation in a, so this will be a plus 3 into a minus 1 is equal to 0, or a should equal minus 3 or 1. Similarly, the third condition is that the constant term should equal 0. That is, a square plus a minus 6 should equal 0. This can be factorized as a plus 3 into a minus 2 is equal to 0, or a should equal minus 3 or 2. So all the three conditions should be met. As you can see, this would happen only when a is equal to minus 3, when all the three conditions are met. So whenever a is equal to minus 3, the given quadratic equation will transform into a tautology, which is 0 is equal to 0, which is satisfied for any value of x. So the given quadratic equation will have more than two solutions. In this question, it is mentioned that Harsh has two types of sugars. He bought sugar of type 1 at a cost of 50 per kg, and he bought sugar of type 2 at 35 per kg. So he has type 1 sugar, and the cost price is 50 per kg. And type 2 sugar costs 35 per kg. He marked up the price of type 1 sugar by 8%. So what is the marked price? The marked price will be 50 into 1.08. 50 into 1.08 is equal to 54 per kg. This is the marked price of type 1 sugar. And type 2 he marked up by 20%. So what is the marked price of type 2 sugar? That is 35 into 1.2, which is equal to 42 per kg. These are the marked prices of type 1 and type 2 sugars. On this, he gave a discount of 5% on both of them. So discount is equal to 5% on both of them. This would tell us that the selling price is equal to 54 into 1 minus 5%. So that is 54 into 0.9. You can use your calculator to figure out that 54 into, what is the value of 54 into 0.95. Similarly, the selling price for the other one will be 42 into 0.95. You can use your calculator to figure out that 54 into 0.95 is going to equal 27 into 1.9. So 27 into 1.9 will be 540 minus 27. So that is equal to 51.3. Similarly, if you are looking at selling price of type 2, that will be 42 into 0.95. So again, to simplify, it is 21 into 1.9. 21 into 19 is 399. So this will be equal to 39.9. You can either calculate it this way, or you will have a calculator to actually calculate the decimals. Now we are told that the overall profit is 9.25%. The overall profit is 9.25%. What is the ratio by weight of type 1 to type 2 sugar that he sold? Let us assume that he sold x kgs of type 1 and y kgs of type 2. So what is the total cost price? The total cost price will be 50x plus 35y. This is the total cost price. And what is the total selling price? The total selling price is 51.3 x plus 39.9y. We are told that the profit percentage is 9.25%. So cost price into 1 plus profit percent has to equal the selling price. So 50x plus 35y into 1.0925 is going to equal 51.3x plus 39.9. So we can simplify this. What is the value of 50x into 1.0925? You can use your calculator, or in general for these kind of things, I just divide this by 2. because 50 into 2 is equal to 100, but these kind of things can be solved using your calculator. So this becomes equal to 5, 4, 625. So this is equal to 54.625x plus 35 into 1.0925 will equal, I think, 38.2375. This again you can use your calculator to figure it out. This is equal to 51.3x plus 39.9y. If you bring all the terms involving x to one side and all the terms involving y to the other side, the value of x will be equal to 3.325x is equal to 1.6625y. So the value of x by y is equal to 1.6625 divided by 3.325. This, if you simplify, you will realize that is equal to 1:2, or the value of x is to y has to equal 1:2. In this question, a function f of n is described such that whenever n is even, f of n is equal to n into n plus 1, and when n is odd, f of n is equal to n plus 3. Now if m is a positive integer such that 8 into f m plus 1 minus f of m is equal to 2, we need to calculate the value of m. Now because the function is different for even numbers and odd numbers, let us consider two cases. The first case is m is even. The second case is m is odd. Now because we need to calculate f of m plus 1 and f of m, we'll also look at what m plus 1 will be in both the cases. Whenever m is even, m plus 1 is odd, and whenever m is odd, m plus 1 is even. So let us consider the first case. So in this case, f of m is equal to m into m plus 1, because m is even, and f of m plus 1, note that m plus 1 will be odd, so f of m plus 1 will be m plus 1 plus 3, which is equal to m plus 4. Now let us find the value of 8 into f of m plus 1 minus f of m. This should equal to, according to the given equation, 8 into f of m plus 1 will be 8m plus 32 minus f of m will be m square minus m. This is basically m into m plus 1. This is equal to 2. Now if you solve for this, if you simplify this, this is going to be m square minus 7m minus 30 is equal to 0. This is equal to m minus 10 into m plus 3 is equal to 0, or m is equal to 10 or minus 3. As we are told that m is a positive integer, the only value is m is equal to 10, and 10 is an even integer, so 10 is a valid solution. Now let us look at the second case where m is odd, and in that case m plus 1 will be even. So f of m will equal m plus 3. This is again by definition of the function. And f of m plus 1, note that in this case m plus 1 is even, so we will have to apply this formula, will be m plus 1 into m plus 2. Therefore the given equation, that is 8 into f of m plus 1 minus f of m, which equals 2, can be simplified as 8 into m square plus 3m plus 2 minus m minus 3 is equal to 2. If you simplify this, you are going to get 8m square plus 24m plus 16 minus m minus 3 is equal to 2, or 8m square plus 23m plus this is 13 minus 2 is 11 plus 11 is equal to 0. You can note that you can solve for the quadratic equation, but you will see that the solutions for this, the solutions of the two values of m will not be positive integers. So there are no solutions in this case when m is odd. So the only solution is m is equal to 10, which is the answer.
Google search Krakows XAT crash course. Click on the first link. You can find a highly comprehensive crash course curated for the XAT. Click on Enroll to get full access to the course.
In this question, it is given that there is a circle of radius 11 centimeters, of which CD is a diameter. So suppose there is a circle, CD is the diameter, the length of the radius is 11 centimeters, so CD, which is the diameter, is equal to 22 centimeters. There is a chord AB of length 20.5 centimeters. AB and CD intersect at point E inside the circle. So let us assume that this is AB. And AB, the length of AB, it is given, is equal to 20.5 centimeters. CE has a length of 7 centimeters, so this is 7. Then the difference of the lengths of BE, this is E, and AE in centimeters. So we are required to find out BE minus AE. This is the difference. So before we get into it, there is one theorem, important theorem in geometry. It is quite straightforward, which is called the intersecting chords theorem. We'll use that theorem in this problem. We can solve it without using it also, but using it, the solution becomes very straightforward. So suppose there is a circle and suppose it has two chords. Now suppose the chords are AB and CD, and suppose they intersect at S. This can be any two chords in the circle. Then AS into BS is equal to CS into DS. What we are saying is, when we multiply the respective lengths of each of the small parts from the point of intersection, the product will remain the same. So AS, which is this point, this length, into BS, which is this length, will equal CS, which is this length, into DS, which is this length. You can prove it using similarity of two triangles, because many of the angles are equal when you complete the triangles. But there is no need of proof, just remember this theorem, it is an important theorem. We'll apply the same theorem in this problem, because as you can see, AB is a chord and CD, even though it's the diameter, is also another special chord. So once we know that CE is equal to 7 centimeters, we know that DE is equal to 15 centimeters. We know the length of DE because we know the length of CD. It is equal to 22 centimeters, so DE is equal to 15. Let us assume that the length of AE is equal to X, so the length of BA will be equal to 20.5 minus X, because we know the length of AB. Now using the theorem that we just described, the intersecting chords theorem, it would mean that 20.5 minus X into X is equal to 7 into 15. This is a quadratic equation in X. You can simplify it by expanding the bracket. So it will be x square minus 20.5x plus 105 is equal to 0. 20.5 is 10 plus 10.5. You can factorize this easily as x minus 10 into x minus 10.5 is equal to 0. So it has two solutions. Solution 1 is that x is equal to 10 and solution 2 is equal to x is equal to 10.5. Therefore, the length of AE is either 10 centimeters or 10.5 centimeters. In this case, the length of BE is equal to 20.5 minus x, which is equal to 10.5. And in this case, the length of BE is again equal to 20.5 minus x, so BE is equal to 10. In both the cases, the difference between the two chords, the two line segments B and AE, will be 10.5 minus 10, which is equal to 0.5 centimeters. So the answer in this case is 0.5 centimeters. This is a good use of the theorem that we discovered, intersecting chords theorem. Just read it so that you will understand this better. In this question, we are told that f of x is x square plus 1 divided by x square minus 1 when x is not equal to 1 and minus 1. And if x is equal to 1 or minus 1, f of x is equal to 1. Similarly, g of x is equal to x plus 1 divided by x minus 1 if x is not equal to 1, and it is equal to 3 when x is equal to 1. What is the minimum possible value of f of x by g of x? The first thing to do is, when x is equal to 1, what is the value of f of x? The value of f of x is equal to 1. And what is the value of g of x? It is equal to 3. So the value of f of x by g of x, which we are trying to minimize, will be equal to 1 by 3. Similarly, if the value of x is equal to minus 1, then f of x is again equal to 1. And what is the value of g of x? G of x will be equal to minus 1 plus 1 over here, which is 0, divided by minus 1, which is minus 2. So g of x is equal to 0. So the value of f of x by g of x is not defined because g of x is actually equal to 0. So now that we have taken care of x is equal to 1 and x is equal to minus 1, let us look at f of x by g of x for all the remaining values of x. What is the value of f of x by g of x? F of x by g of x is equal to x square plus 1 divided by x square minus 1 whole divided by x plus 1 divided by x minus 1. This is equal to x square plus 1 divided by x square minus 1 into x minus 1 divided by x plus 1. Or you can simplify this to equal x square plus 1 divided by x plus 1 whole square. We are trying to minimize this. If you are trying to minimize this, you know that the denominator, which is x plus 1 whole square, is x square plus 2x plus 1. So this is equal to x square plus 1 divided by x square plus 2x plus 1. This is what we are trying to minimize. This would become equal to 1 minus 2x divided by x square plus 2x plus 1. This is just the simplification. This is what we are trying to minimize. So we are trying to maximize 2x divided by x square plus 2x plus 1. This is what we are trying to maximize. Because we want to minimize 1 minus 2x by x plus 1 whole square, we are trying to maximize the value of 2x divided by x plus 1 whole square. Now at what value of x is 2x divided by x plus 1 whole square maximized? It is maximized when, again, you are trying to maximize 2 divided by square root of x plus 1 by square root of x whole square. Or again, just to avoid any complication, we can even ignore this. The denominator is equal to 2x divided by x square plus 2x plus 1. This is what we are trying to maximize. So if you divide the entire equation by x, we are trying to maximize 2 divided by x plus 1 by x plus 2. This is what we are trying to maximize. So if you are looking at the reciprocal, we are trying to minimize x plus 1 by x. And at what value of x is x plus 1 by x minimized? It is minimized when x is equal to 1. And what is the value of this expression? The value of this expression will be 2 by 4 because x plus 1 by x will be equal to 2. 2 plus 2 will be 4 and the numerator is 2. So this is 2 by 4. And therefore the value of the given expression, which is 2x by x plus 1 whole square, will be equal to 1 by 2 when the value of x is equal to 1. Therefore the minimum value of the given expression, which is x square plus 1 divided by x plus 1 whole square, will be equal to 1 by 2. This is occurring when the value of x is equal to 1. At all other values of x, the value of x square plus 1 divided by x plus 1 whole square is greater than 1 by 2. And it is touching 1 by 2 only when x is equal to 1. But notice that this is not the value of f of x by g of x when x is equal to 1. Because when x is equal to 1, f of x is not defined. And we know that when x is equal to 1, the value of f of x by g of x is 1 by 3. And at all the remaining values of x, the value of f of x by g of x is greater than 1 by 2. Therefore, the minimum value of f of x by g of x occurs when x is equal to 1 and it is equal to 1 by 3. So the correct answer is option D.
In this question, it is given that ABCD is a quadrilateral and its diagonals are perpendicular to each other. Let us first draw the diagonal so this is ABCD. AB is given as 75, so this is 75. CD is given as 40, so this is 40. AD is to BC is equal to 3 is to 4. So let AD be equal to 3x and BC be equal to 4x. So this is 4x and this is 3x. Find the sum of the lengths of AD plus BC. So we are basically asked to find out 3x plus 4x, which is equal to 7x. This is what we need to find out. To calculate this, let us assume that the diagonals intersect at a point called O. Now each of the angles around O is a right angle. So let us assume that the four sides OB, OC, OD and OA are B, C, D and A. We are doing this because we can use Pythagoras theorem repeatedly to get an equation and calculate the value of x. So if you look at the triangle OAB, a square plus b square is equal to 75 square. Similarly, b square plus c square is equal to 16x square. This is from the triangle OBC. Similarly, in triangle OCD, c square plus d square is equal to 40 square. And in triangle OAD, a square plus d square is equal to, this is 3x, so 9x square. Now you have 4 equations. This is equation 1, equation 2, equation 3 and equation 4. If you add equation 1 and 3 and equation 2 and 4, if you add equation 1 and 3, you get a square plus b square plus c square plus d square is equal to 75 square plus 40 square. Equation 2 and 4 also give b square plus c square plus a square plus d square is equal to 16x square plus 9x square. This is equal to 25x square. Notice that the left hand side of both the equations are the same. Therefore, 25x square should equal 75 square plus 40 square, or 75 square plus 40 square is equal to 25x square. If you simplify 75 square plus 40 square will equal 7225. This is equal to 25x square, or x square is equal to 289, or x is equal to 17. Now what are we required to find out? We are required to find out 7x. So in this case, 7 into 17 is equal to 119 is the answer.
A shopkeeper sells tomatoes and he has 100 kgs of tomatoes with him. So the total number of tomatoes with him are 100 kgs. He sells them in packets of 1 kg and 3 kg. So let us assume that he sold A packets of 1 kg and suppose he sold B packets of 3 kg. Now he offers 2 packets of 1 kg free for customers who bought a 3 kg packet. So what is the total number of tomatoes that are sold? In the A packets of 1 kg, the total number of tomatoes sold is A. In the B packets of 3 kgs, the total number of tomatoes sold is 3B. But for every packet of B, that is every packet of 3 kgs, he is also giving 2 1 kgs free. So for every 3 kg packet sold, he is giving 2 kgs free. Because there are B packets of 3 kgs sold, he is giving 2 B packets for free. So the total amount of tomatoes sold is A plus 5B. This is equal to the total tomatoes that he has, which is equal to 100. Now he marks up the price of the tomatoes by 30% and he ends up realizing a profit of 17%. Let the cost price of tomatoes be equal to x per kg. Therefore, the mark price is equal to 1.3x. So a packet of tomatoes which are sold with 1 kgs, the mark price will be equal to 1.3x. And the B packets which are sold for 3 kgs, the mark price will be equal to 3.9x. So what is the total amount of money that he made? This will equal 1.3x into A plus 3.9x into B. This we are told is equal to 100 into x, this is the total cost price, into 1 plus 17%, which is the profit. So this is equal to 1.17. Or if you simplify it, you are going to get, and you cancel x on all the terms, you are going to get that 1.3a plus 3.9b is equal to 117. Now you know that you can divide all the terms by 1.3 because all of them are multiples of 13. So if you divide the entire terms with 1.3, you are going to get that a plus 3b is equal to 90. This is the second equation. 90 is basically 117 divided by 1.3, and this is the first equation. So if you divide the second equation from the first equation, you are going to get that 2b is equal to 100 minus 90, which is equal to 10, or b is equal to 5. Therefore the value of a is equal to 75. So he sold 75 packets of 1 kg tomatoes, and therefore the total tomatoes sold is 75. He sold 5 packets of 3 kg tomatoes, so he sold 15 kgs in the 3 kg packets, and for each of these 5 packets he also gave 2 into 5, that is equal to 10 tomatoes for free. If you add all of them, 15 plus 10 plus 75, you are going to get 100 kgs of tomatoes, which is what he usually had. He had at the start. The question is, what is the total quantity of tomatoes sold in the 3 kg packets? That is equal to 15 kgs, which is 3 into 5. In this question, we are told that Ratnesh is using an escalator in a shopping complex. If he moves slowly, the escalator is also going down, and if he is going slowly down and he covers only 30 steps, then it takes 42 seconds to reach the bottom. But if say he is walking fast and he covers 45 steps on the escalator, then it takes only 24 seconds to reach the bottom. Now we are required to find out the number of steps on the escalator. So let us first look at the escalator. Let us suppose that this is the escalator, and let us assume that the total number of steps on this escalator is n. Now if Ratnesh covers 30 steps, the escalator also is covering the remaining steps, so the escalator has covered n minus 30 steps downwards. And how much time did it take? It took 42 seconds. If Ratnesh walks fast and covers 45 steps, the remaining n minus 45 have been moved by the escalator itself, because the escalator also is coming down. And how much time did it take to do this? It has taken only 24 seconds to do this. Now what we should notice is that the number of steps that the escalator moves per second is constant. So that is n minus 30 divided by 42 should equal n minus 45 divided by 24. These two should be the same. This is basically the speed of the escalator. Now if you solve this, you are going to get 24n minus 720 is equal to 42n minus 45 into 42. 45 into 42 you can calculate using your calculator. It will be 1890. So if you simplify this, you are going to get 18n is equal to 1890 minus 720, which is 1170, or n will equal 1170 by 18, which is 65. So the total number of steps on the escalator is 65. So in this question, it has been given that there are two friends, John and Andrew. Both of them had a certain number of chocolates with each of them. And initially, John gives 5/8 of the chocolates that he has to Andrew. And Andrew, after taking these chocolates, gives 3/8 of the chocolates back to John. It has been noticed that after every such transfer cycle, the number of chocolates which each of them remains constant. It has also been given that initially Andrew has 8 chocolates more than John. So we have to calculate what is the total number of chocolates that both of them had together. So let the number of chocolates with each of them initially be j. This is for John, and Andrew has 8 more chocolates than John. So initially both of them had j and j plus 8. We should what we should find at the end is 2j plus 8 is what we need to find, which is the sum of the chocolates. After John gives 5/8 of its chocolates, he will have 3 by 8 j, and Andrew will have j plus 5, so that will be 13j by 8 plus 8. This is after John gives his chocolates to Andrew, and after Andrew gives 3/8 of these chocolates back to John, John will have 3 by 8 j plus 3 by 8 into 13 by 8 j plus 3. This is 3 by 8 into 8. This will be 39 j by 64 plus 3, and this is 3 by 8 j. This will be by 64, 63 j plus 3. Similarly with him, it will be 5/8 by 8 into 13 by 8 j plus 8. This will be 65 j by 64 plus 5. Now as the number of chocolates remain constant after this cycle, these two numbers should be the same, and if they are actually the same, even these two will be the same. So you can equate any one of the two to find the value of j. If we equate the first one, j is equal to 63 by 64
j plus 3 or j by 64 is equal to 3 or j is equal to 192. Now what we should find is 2j plus 8, that is 2 into 164 plus 8, which is 2 into 192 plus 2 into 192 plus 8. This is equal to 384 plus 8, which is equal to 392. So this is the final answer.
In this question, it is given that there are a total of 200 students, of which 105 like pizza and 134 like burger. Then we are required to find out the number of students who like only burger can possibly be. So what we'll do is we'll first draw, this is a Venn diagrams question clearly, because it is implied that there are some people who like only pizza, there are some people who like only burger, and there will be some people who like both pizza and burger, and also there will be some people who like neither of the two. So any question which has this sort of a setting, which is that there are more than one attributes that a particular student can like, you know that this is a Venn diagrams question. So suppose this circle represents all the students who like pizza, and this circle represents all the students who like burger. We are told that 134 students like burger and 105 students like pizza. Now what are we required to find out? We are required to find out some interval where the number of students who like only burger can be. So let us assume that that interval is x. So x over here denotes the students, the number of students who like only burger. Then the intersection of the number of students who like both burger and pizza will be 134 minus x, because you want the total number of students who like burger to be 134. So the intersection between pizza and burger will be 134 minus x. Now this would imply that the number of students who like only pizza, that is people who are inside this area, will equal 105, which is the total number of students who like pizza, minus 134 minus x, which is the intersection between pizza and burger. So this will be, if you simplify, x minus 29. So this is going to be x minus 29. Now, so we know for sure that x is greater than or equal to 29, because you don't want x minus 29 to be negative. There will not be minus 10 students who like only pizza. That number has to be greater than or equal to 0. So you know that x is greater than or equal to 29. There is one more information that you will have to take care of, which is that the total number of students is 200. So the number of students who like pizza and burger has to be less than or equal to 200. Because there are, why will it not be exactly equal to 200? Because you know that there can be some students who like neither pizza nor burger, and you know that that set of students is also greater than or equal to 0. So it would imply that the number of students who are within this union of pizza and burger has to be less than or equal to 200. If you calculate it, that will be x minus 29, that is this number of students who like only pizza, plus 134 minus x, which is the number of students who like both pizza and burger, plus x, which is the number of students who like only burger. This has to be less than or equal to 200. If you simplify x minus 29 plus 134 minus x, this will equal 105. So 105 plus x is less than or equal to 200, or x is less than or equal to 95. So you know that 95 is greater than or equal to x is greater than or equal to 29. This is the interval within which the number of students who like only burger falls in. Now let us look at the options. The first option is 23, but that is less than 29. So this is not the answer. Let us look at the second option. 26 is also less than 29. So this is also not the correct answer. The third option is 96, but you know that 96 is greater than 95. So this is also not the answer. The final option is 93, which lies within the interval that we have discussed before. So the correct answer is option D, which is 93. Remember that 93 is a possibility. We are not saying that the number of students who like only burger is definitely 93, but 93 falls within the prescribed range. So it is the correct answer. In this question, we are asked to calculate the number of ways of distributing 20 identical balloons among 4 children such that each child gets some balloons but no child gets an odd number of balloons. Let us assume that the balloons with the 4 children are 2a, 2b, 2c and 2d because all of them are even numbers, and all of them a, b, c, d have to be greater than 0. So the equation we have is that 2a plus 2b plus 2c plus 2d is equal to 20, or the value of a plus b plus c plus d is equal to 10. Here we have all of them to be greater than 0. We want to use the equation, the formula for the number of non-negative integral solutions for an equation. That is, when you have r variables a1, a2, a3 plus dot 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 till ar, which sum up to n, such that each one of them a1, a2 dot 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 till ar are non-negative integers, that is, they are greater than or equal to 0. The number of solutions of this equation is n plus r minus 1 c r minus 1. But this formula is valid when this is greater than or equal to 0. Here we have all of them to be strictly greater than 0. So we'll assume that there are new variables a1 plus 1 which is equal to a, and b1 plus 1 is equal to b, and c1 plus 1 is equal to c, and d1 plus 1 is equal to d, or the sum of a1 plus b1 plus c1 plus d1 is equal to 6. Now each one of them of the new variables a1, b1, c1 and d1 are greater than or equal to 0, and therefore the number of solutions for this equation will be 6 plus 4 minus 1 c4 minus 1. This is equal to 9c3, which is equal to 9 into 8 into 7 divided by 6. 9 into 8 is 72, divided by 6 is 12. This is equal to 84. So the answer for this question is 84. In this question, a triangle ABC is given, and there are points D, E and F which are given, which divide the sides in the ratio 3:1. You can look at the image, and so you get a triangle D, E and F. Inside the triangle DF, similarly, another 3 points G, H, I are drawn such that they divide the sides in the ratio 1:2. So you have one outer triangle ABC, a triangle inside it DEF, and a further triangle inside it GHI. Now we are required to find out the ratio of the area ABC to that of the inner triangle GHI. Now let us first consider the triangle E, B and F. For ease of calculations, I assume that the length of the side AB is 4x because it is divided in the ratio 3:1. Similarly, the length of the side 3C is 4y, and the length of the side CA is 4z. Now for triangle EBF, if you want to calculate the area, this equals half into EB is x into BF, which is equal to 3y into sine B. We are just using the area of a triangle, which is half AB sine C. Now this is equal to 3/2 into xy sine B. Now the area of the bigger triangle ABC is equal to half into AB, which is 4x, into BC, which is 4y, into sine B. This is equal to 16/2 xy sine B. What you can actually notice is the value of this, the area of this smaller triangle is 3/16 that of the bigger triangle by comparing these two values. Similarly, you can calculate the area of the other triangles, that is triangle AED and triangle DFC. Both of them will also be equal to 3/16 into the bigger triangle's area, let us assume that is A. So the total area of the three triangles outside is equal to 9/16A. Therefore, the area of the inner triangle DEF is equal to A minus 3/16 into 3A. This comes to 7/16A. Now we have calculated the area of DEF. We'll use the same technique to calculate the area of the inner triangle, that is GHI. In this case,
the area of the triangle GHE will equal 2 into 1 by 3 into 3 of the area of the bigger triangle DEF. This is into 7 by 16A. Similarly, the other two triangles, that is D, G and I, as well as the triangle IH and F, we can find out the areas. They will also be equal to the same. So the total area of the three inner circles will be the area of GHE into 3. This will come to 14 by 14A by 48. Now this is the area, this is the sum of the areas of the three triangles outside. So we need to calculate the area of the inner triangle GHI, which will equal 7 by 16 A, this is the area of DEF, minus 14 by 48A, which is equal to 7A by 48. Therefore, the required ratio is, ratio of ABC to that of GHI is equal to 48 by 7. 48 is to 7. So to recap, let us clear everything off and let us explain what exactly we have done in more detail. To recap, what we found was, if the area of the bigger triangle ABC is equal to A, we found that the area of triangle AED is equal to area of triangle EBF is equal to area of triangle DFC is equal to 3 by 16A. Therefore, to find out the area of triangle DEF, we just subtract the sum of the three small areas from the bigger area. This will equal A minus 3 by 16 into 3A, which will come to 7 by 16A. Now we applied the same rule, the sine rule, to find out the areas of the three smaller triangles inside DEF. And we found out that area of DIG is equal to area of IFH is equal to area of GEH is equal to 2 by 9 into area of DEF. Therefore, the area of GHI is, we have to area of DEF minus 2 by 3 into area of DEF, which will come to area of DEF by 3. When you are equating it with the area of ABC, this comes to 7 by 48A. Therefore, the required ratio is 48 is to 7. We are just using sine rule multiple times to get the answer.
In this question, there are three people, A, B and C. They rent an apartment together and they split all the expenses equally. In 1 month, the electricity bill was paid by the three of them such that A paid 5% of his salary, B paid 6% of his salary and C paid 7.5% of his salary. Assume that the amount paid by each one of them is a natural number. Which of the following can be the sum of the earnings of all the people living in the apartment? So let us assume that the salary of A is A, salary of B is B and salary of C is C. So we are required to find out the value of A plus B plus C. That is, which of the four options given can be the value of A plus B plus C. We are also told that 5% of A is equal to 6% of B is equal to 7.5% of C. This is the amount that each one of them pays for the electricity bill. Let this be equal to K. Now we are told that each one of them is a natural number, that is K is a natural number. Now as 5% of A is equal to K, A is equal to 100 by 5K, which is equal to 20K. Similarly, 6% of B is equal to K,
or B is equal to 100 by 6k, which is equal to 50 by 3k. Similarly, 7.5% of C is equal to k, or C is equal to 100 by 7.5 into k, which is equal to 40 by 3k. Now, therefore, the sum of their three salaries, which is A plus B plus C, will equal 20k plus 50 by 3k plus 40 by 3k. This will be 20k plus 50 plus 40 is 90 by 3k is 30k. So, this will equal 50k. This is the sum of their salaries, and we know that k is a natural number. So, of the four options given, whichever is a multiple of 50 will be the answer. And amongst the options that are given, this is not a multiple of 50, this is not a multiple of 50, this is not a multiple of 50. 450 is the only number which is a multiple of 50. So, the correct answer is 450.
Google search Krakus XAT mock test series. Click on the link. After completing the test, you'll be getting detailed solutions, analysis, percentile along with your scorecard to gauge your All India performance.
In this question, we are told that 100 people have attended a wedding. These 100 people include some men, some women and some children. So, if you are assuming that the number of men who attended the wedding is M, plus the number of women who attended the wedding is W, plus the number of children who attended the wedding is C, M plus W plus C is equal to 100. And each man has given rupees 5, each woman has given rupees 4 and each child has given rupees 1. So, 5M plus 4W plus C is the total money that is given to the married couple. This has been told to equal 200. We are given some more information between M and W. We are told that every woman attended the wedding along with her husband. So, it would imply that W is less than or equal to M, because for every woman we also have her husband, and in addition to all these married men, there are also some men who have attended it alone. Now, the total number of men who attended the wedding we assume to be equal to M. Of this, how many men have attended the wedding along with their wives? This is equal to W, which is the number of women who have attended the wedding, and there are some men who attended it alone. What is their number? Their number will equal M minus W. Now, some information that is given is that it is known that at least half of the men who attended the wedding came along with their wives. So, the number of men who attended the wedding who came along with their wives is W. So, W is greater than or equal to half the total number of men, or 2W is greater than or equal to M. So, we know that W is less than or equal to M and 2W is greater than or equal to M. This is basically the information that we have. We are supposed to calculate what is the difference between the number of men and women who attended the wedding. That is, we are supposed to calculate the value of M minus W. Here we have two equations and we have three unknowns. So, how are you going to solve it? We can solve it because we have some more information about M, W and C. All of them are integers, and we also have an inequality between W and M. So, using this extra information, we should be able to solve these equations. So, let us assume that this is the first equation and this is the second equation. Let us first remove C by subtracting the first equation from the second equation. This would imply that 4M plus 3W is equal to 100. And we have to solve for the value of M and W. 4M is a multiple of 4 because the coefficient 4 is a multiple of 4, and 100 is a multiple of 4 because 100 is equal to 4 into 25. So, for 3W also has to be a multiple of 4. So, this would imply that W has to be a multiple of 4. So, let us assume that W is equal to 4 into K for some number K. So, the given equation will become 4M plus what is the value of 3W will equal 12K is equal to 100, or now you divide the entire equation by 4. So, you are going to get M plus 3K is equal to 25. Now, let us try to enumerate all the different possibilities because we won't have a lot of possibilities over here. If K is equal to 1, W is equal to 4K, so that is equal to 4, and M is equal to 25 minus 3K, which is 22. If K is equal to 2, W is equal to 8 and M is equal to 19. If K is equal to 3, W is equal to 12 and M is equal to 16. Finally, if K is equal to 4, W is equal to 16 and M is equal to 13. We don't need to go further because for all the values of K which are greater than or equal to 4, the value of W will be greater than the value of M, but that is not allowed. We know that M is greater than or equal to W. So this is not possible. Even the first and the second cases are not possible because we know that 2W has to be greater than or equal to M. In the first case, W is equal to 4, so 2W is equal to 8, but that is less than 22. Similarly, in the second case, W is equal to 8 and M is equal to 19, so 2W will be 16, which is less than 19, so this is also not possible. The only case which satisfies all the conditions is the third case, in which case W is equal to 12, M is equal to 16, and in this case what will the value of C be? C is equal to 100 minus W minus M, so that is 100 minus 28, which is equal to 72. And we are supposed to calculate the difference between men and women, that is M minus W, which is 16 minus 12, which is equal to 4. In this question, it has been given that there is a rectangle ABCD, P bisects AD, and E is a point on CP. So let us first draw the rectangle and keep drawing as and when we reach. So this is the rectangle ABCD. So say this is A, B, C and D. P is a point which bisects AD, so this is P. Now E is a point on CP, so let us first draw CP. So say this is CP. E is a point on CP on this line such that D is perpendicular to CP. So let us first draw a perpendicular, and so this is point E. Now if the length of CP, so it is given that CP is equal to 50 centimeters, and it is also given that DE is equal to 15 centimeters, DE. Is equal to 15 centimeters. We are required to find out the maximum possible ratio of AD by CD. So let the breadth of the rectangle be 2B. So this is B and this is B, and let the length of the rectangle be L. So say CD is equal to L. We are required to find out the maximum possible value of 2B by L. This is what we need to find out. 2B is equal to AD and CD is equal to L. To start off, let us assume, because this is a rectangle and in which we are drawing a perpendicular, there is a good scope that this will involve similar triangles. So let us assume that this angle is equal to theta. So this is 90 degrees each. So this angle is equal to 90 minus theta. So this angle is equal to theta and this angle is equal to 90 minus theta. Now let us try to find out the values of B and L if we can, or we will try to find out some sort of a relationship between them using the similarity that we have just discussed. Now sine theta, if you are looking at DE, so in triangle DEP, sine theta, that is DEP, we look at cos theta because we know the value of B and we know DE is equal to 15. So cos theta is equal to 15 by B. Here in this triangle, B is the hypotenuse. This side is the hypotenuse. Now similarly, if you are looking at the bigger triangle, that is triangle DCP. So in triangle DCP, sine theta is equal to, the side opposite theta is B and the hypotenuse is CP, which is equal to 50. So this is equal to 50. We can use these two equations to find the value of B because we know that sine square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. Now once we find the value of B, we will find the value of L and then we will proceed further. Sine square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. Therefore, this square plus this square will equal 1. So 225 by B square plus B square by 2500, this is 50 square, is equal to 1. Or if we just cross multiply, B to the power 4 minus 2500 B square, this is just multiplying the denominator, taking it to the other side and bringing it back, plus 2500 into 225 is equal to 0. This equation is just a simplification of this equation. Now if you solve this, you will get that this is a simple quadratic equation in b square, and b square will be equal to 2250 or 250. So b square has two possible values. So the value of b will be square root of 2250 or square root of 250. That is, it will be either 2250 is 15 root 10 or 250 is 5 root 10. Remember that 5 square is equal to 25 and 15 square is equal to 225. Now once we found out the two values of b, we can find out similar values of L. So if we are looking at it in this triangle, that is in triangle DEC, if you are looking at this is theta and L is the hypotenuse, therefore sine theta is equal to 15 by L. But we know that sine theta is also equal to b by 50. So this is equal to b by 50, or L is equal to 15 into 50, that is 750 by b. So we have two values of b and we know the value of L in terms of b. So for each of the values we will calculate the similar value of L. So if b is equal to 15 root 10, if b is equal to 15 root 10, L will be 750 by 15 root 10, which is equal to 50 by root 10, which is equal to 5 root 10. Similarly, if b is equal to 5 root 10, this is the second equation, L will equal 750 by 5 root 10, which is 150 by root 10, which is 15 root 10. Now what we are required to find out is the maximum value of 2b by L. So in these two equations, 2b by L is maximized in the first one because b is larger and L is smaller. So b by L in this case will be 3 and 2b by L will be 6. Therefore the maximum possible value of the ratio of AD by CD is 6. In this question we have two functions, f of x and g of x. F of x is given as 20x by x square plus 1 and g of x is given as 2 by 4x minus 2x square minus 1. Both the functions are defined for all real x, that is x can be any real number. Now based on the value that x takes, both f of x and g of x will have two specified respective ranges. Now we are required to find out how many positive natural numbers are common between these two ranges of f of x and g of x. That is, amongst all the values that f of x can take and amongst all the values of g of x can take, how many natural numbers are common between these two ranges. So now let us look at both of them separately. Let us first look at f of x. Let us try to find out how many natural numbers can be part of the range of f of x. We'll do the same for g of x and then we'll take the common set out. So let us assume that f of x is equal to a. That is, f of x is equal to 20x by x square plus 1. Let us call this a. Now we'll convert this into a quadratic equation in x, and then because x has to be real, we'll find out its discriminant, and based on that we are going to get a range for a. So for example, this will be transformed into x square plus 1 into a minus 20x is equal to 0, or x square minus 20 by ax plus 1 is equal to 0. This is a quadratic equation in x. Therefore the discriminant has to be greater than 0. That is, b for any quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. For this equation to have real roots, b square minus 4ac has to be greater than or equal to 0. This is the rule of quadratic equations. So over here b is the coefficient of x, which is minus 20 by a. Therefore b square will be 400 by a square. This has to be greater than or equal to 4ac, that is 4 into the value of a is the coefficient of x square, which is 1, into c is the constant term, which is also 1, or 100 by a square has to be greater than or equal to 1. Because a square will be positive, we can multiply both sides with a square. So 100 has to be greater than or equal to a square, or a must lie between minus 10 and plus 10. So the number of positive integral values that a can take in f of x is 1 to 10. This is the set of positive integral numbers which are part of the range of f of x. Now we will calculate the same thing for even g of x and then take the common intersection out. In g of x, again let us assume that g of x, which is equal to 2 by 4x minus 2x square minus 1, this is equal to say b. We will again convert this into a quadratic equation. So 2 by b is equal to 4x minus 2x square minus 1, or 2x square minus 4x plus 1 plus 2 by b is equal to 0. This is the quadratic equation. Again, the roots of the quadratic equation have to be real because these functions are defined only for real numbers. Therefore, the discriminant, that is b square minus 4ac, has to be greater than or equal to 0. B square is 4 into 4, that is 16, is greater than or equal to 4 into a is 2 into c is 1 plus 2 by b. This would imply that 2 is greater than or equal to 1 plus 2 by b, or 2 by b is less than or equal to 1. Now we are only looking at the positive values of b, so we can easily multiply both sides with b because we are only looking at the positive integral values. If we are not looking for positive integral values, we will have to subtract 1 from it, which also we can do. For example, in this case it will be 2 by b minus 1 is less than or equal to 0, or 2 minus b by b is less than or equal to 0, or b into b minus 2 is greater than or equal to 0. What this would imply is b has to be either less than or equal to 0 or b has to be greater than or equal to 2. Now therefore we are not concerned with the less than or equal to 0 part, we are only concerned with the greater than or equal to 2 part. In fact, over here, because b was in the denominator, we will again have to see if b can actually equal 0 or not, but all those things can be ignored for now because we are only looking at the range of b which is in the positive integral domain. So we are only looking for the second part, that is that b has to be greater than or equal to 2. So b can take any value which is greater than or equal to 2. So b will be 2 to infinity. Now we are looking for the set of numbers which are common between these two sets, and the common numbers will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. These are 9 positive integral numbers which are common between f of x and g of x. In this question, we are told that Mahesh gave each of his sons a distinct number of chocolates. We are also told that he has 8 sons, and if you are picking any 2 pairs of sons, the sum of the chocolates with both the pairs is not the same. We are required to calculate the minimum number of chocolates that he could have given his sons. Let us assume that the number of chocolates that he gave his 8 sons are A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6, A7 and A8. Now suppose we have found out the first 7 numbers A1 to A7 which satisfy this given condition, that if you are picking any 4 out of this A1 to A7 numbers, the sum of any 2 pairs is not the same. And now we are required to calculate say A8. How are we going to proceed? One way to look at it is, if you make A8 to be a very large number, if you make A8 to be equal to say 10,000, very large number, then A8 itself will be greater than A6 plus A7. We don't know the values of A6 and A7, but let us assume that they are say some 2-digit number. We have calculated the values till A7 and say they are 80 and 90, and A8 itself is very high. Then you can say for certain that if this property is holding true for the first 7 numbers, by adding a very large number to this, the property will still hold true, because if you are picking A8 as one of the 2 pairs, that itself will be greater than the sum of any 2 pairs. For example, A8 plus say A1 will definitely be greater than A7 plus A6. Why is that the case? Because A8 itself is greater than A7 plus A6. But if you are now trying to minimize the value of A8, then you make A8 to be equal to A7 plus A6. Now you add even A1 to it, even if A1 is small, because A8 itself is equal to A7 plus A6. If you are adding a number A1 to it, again the sum of these 2 pairs is not the same. This is basically the strategy that we will be using. Essentially, if you think about it, if you assume that the 8 numbers are A1 to A8, and we have calculated the values of A1 to A7, such that A1 is less than, A2 is less than, A3 is less than, A4 is less than, A5 is less than, A6 is less than, A7. And now we are required to calculate the 8th such number, such that this pattern is satisfied. Now you look at the first 7 numbers. If this pattern is already satisfied for these 7 numbers, and now you are looking for A8, if you make A8 to be equal to A6 plus A7, then definitely this will hold true, because the maximum pair maximum sum of a pair from A1 to A7 will be if you sum up A6 and A7. Now even if you are adding the smallest number A1 to A8, the sum of A1 plus A8 will be greater than A6 plus A7. So again the formula will continue to hold true. This is basically the strategy we'll use, but it is also possible that we can find a number which is less than A6 and A7, which for which this property holds true. So that is something that we should be mindful about. Even if you are confused, don't worry. When we are going through the process of actually finding the values from A1 to A7, it will become easy for you to understand. Now the smallest number is 1, so that will be the value of A1. The second smallest number is 2, so that will be the value of A2. The third smallest number is 3, so that will be the value of A3. Till now we haven't gotten actually 2 pairs, so we need not worry about whether that condition is being satisfied or not. Now when you are making the fourth number A4 to be equal to 4, now you have to see if you can find 4 numbers such that the sum of 2 pairs is the same. And you will notice that 4 plus 1 is equal to 2 plus 3. So A4 cannot be equal to 4, because now you will find 4 numbers such that the sum of the 2 pairs is the same. But you can make A4 to be equal to 5. Notice what we have said earlier. Here the value of 2 plus 3 itself is 5. So if you are making the next number to be equal to 5, even if you are adding 5 plus 1, this will be greater than 2 plus 3. So this will definitely hold true. Now what will be the next value? A4 is 5. What is the value of A5? Can that be equal to 6? It cannot be equal to 6, because 6 plus 1 is equal to 5 plus 2. Can it be equal to 7? It cannot be equal to 7, because 7 plus 1 is equal to 5 plus 3. Can it be equal to 8? For 8 we need not check a lot. Why don't we need to check a lot? Because 3 plus 5 is equal to 8. If this property is holding true till the first 4 numbers, and you are making the next number to be equal to 8, now 8 itself is equal to 3 plus 5. So if you are adding even 1 to 8, this will be greater than 3 plus 5. So if the property is holding true for the first 4 numbers, and the fifth number that you are adding is actually 3 plus 5, then you can be sure that the property will continue to hold true. Similarly, the next number, if you are for example adding 13 over here, you know that this property will continue to hold true. But we will have to check if there is any number between 9 and 13 for which this property actually holds true. Does it hold true for 9? It won't hold true for 9, because 9 plus 1 is equal to 8 plus 2. Similarly, it won't hold true for 10, because 10 plus 1 is equal to 8 plus 3. It won't hold true for 11, because 11 plus 2 is equal to 8 plus 5. It won't hold true for 12, because 12 plus 1 is equal to 8 plus 5. But it will hold true for 13. We know for certain that it will hold true for 13, because 13 is equal to 8 plus 5. And because it is 8 plus 5, you won't be able to find a pair whose sum is greater than 8 plus 5. Now that itself is equal to 13. So even if you give one more number to 13, whether it is 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 or 8, that sum will be greater than 5 plus 8. So it is true for 13. What about the next number? If you are putting the next number as 21, then you can be certain that this condition will be satisfied. But we have to check if there is a number which is less than 21 for which this condition is satisfied. Is it satisfied for 14? It won't be satisfied for 14, because 14 plus 1 is 13 plus 2. It won't be satisfied for 15, because again 15 plus 1 is 13 plus 3. It won't be satisfied for 16, because 16 plus basically if you are looking at the difference between 16 and 13, it is 3. That is the same as 5 minus 2. So 16 plus 2 will be equal to 13 plus 5. Will it be satisfied for 17? 17 also it won't be satisfied, because 17 plus 1 is equal to 13 plus 5. Will it be satisfied for 18? It won't be satisfied for 18, because 18 plus 18 and 13 differ by 5. So 18 plus 3 will be equal to 13 plus 8. It won't be satisfied for 19. 19, because the difference is 6 over here, 19 and 13, and the difference is 6 between 8 and 2. So 19 plus 2 will be equal to 13 plus 8. Will it be satisfied for 20? It won't be satisfied for 20, because now the difference is 7. So 20 plus 1 is equal to 13 plus 8. For 21, we need not check. We need not check again for 21, because 21 is equal to 8 plus 13. So the sum of the highest pair amongst 1 to 13 is equal to 21. So if you are taking 21 by itself and you are adding even 1 to it, that sum will be greater than 8 plus 13. What about the next number? If you put the next number as 34, we need not check, because the sum of the highest pair amongst all of these numbers till 21 is equal to 34. But again, we have to check if there is any number which is less than 34 for which this condition is satisfied, which is less than 34 but greater than 21. It won't be satisfied for 22 because 22 plus 1 will be equal to 21 plus 2. Basically, we will be looking at this number minus 21 and trying to see if there is any difference amongst this pair which is the same. For 23, 23 minus 21 is 2 and 3 minus 1 is 2. So basically 23 plus 1 is equal to 21 plus 2. So it won't be true for 23. For 24, the difference from 21 is 3 and 5 minus 2 is 3. So 24 plus 2 is equal to 21 plus 5. So it won't be true. If it is 25, the difference is 4. 5 minus 1 is 4. So 25 plus 1 is equal to 21 plus 5. For 26, the difference is 5 from 21. So that is 13 minus 8. So 26 plus 5, 26 plus 8, sorry, is equal to 21 plus 13. So it won't be true for 26. Will it be true for 27? 27 and 21, they differ by 6, which is the same as 8 minus 2. So 21 plus 2 is equal to 21 plus 8, 27 plus 2. For 28 and 21, the difference is 7, which is same as 8 minus 1. So 28 plus 1 is equal to 21 plus 8. For 29, the difference is 8, which is 13 minus 5. So 29 plus 5 is equal to 21 plus 13. What about 30? 30 minus 21, the difference is 9. But you won't be able to find any pair of numbers over here whose difference is equal to 9. That is, if you make the next number to be equal to 30, this condition is satisfied. Because if you see 30 minus 21 is 9, and will you be able to find a pair of numbers over here whose difference is equal to 9? You won't be able to do that because 2 minus 1 is 1, 3 minus 1 is 2, 5 minus 1 is 4, 8 minus 1 is 7, 13 minus 1 is 12. Similarly, if you are looking at the remaining numbers also, you will notice that this condition is satisfied when the number becomes equal to 30. Now, this is a question which requires a lot of enumeration. This is a question which will waste a lot of time if you are trying to find out the answer in the examination. So, when you are getting this kind of a question which you figure out immediately that it involves a lot of enumeration, I would recommend you to leave these kind of questions alone, because in the examination you don't need to solve all the questions. You need to solve the easy questions, or at least you should avoid solving the questions which waste a lot of time. This question, for example, would waste a lot of time. So don't go for it. The answer in this case will be that the numbers will be 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21 and 30. The sum of these numbers will be 83. Like I mentioned, this is a very lengthy question, and if it comes in the examination, try to avoid it.
In this question, it is given that there is a tournament in which there are 43 junior level and 51 senior level participants. So there are 43 junior level participants and 51 senior level participants. Each pair of juniors play one match, each pair of seniors play one match. So basically the 43 juniors play matches amongst themselves, and the number of matches that they'll play will be 43 C2. Basically you will have to select 2 juniors amongst 43. Similarly, the number of matches that the seniors will play will be 51 C2. There is no junior versus senior match, so they don't play matches against each other. They only play amongst their own groups. The number of girl versus girl matches in junior level is 153, while the number of boy versus boy match in senior level is 276. The number of matches a boy plays against a girl is. So let us assume that in this junior level there are small g number of girls and small b number of boys. So g plus b is 43. Similarly, in the senior level, let us assume that there is capital G girls and capital B boys. In this case, capital G plus capital B is equal to 51. What is given in the question is that the number of girl versus girl matches in junior level is 153. That is, small g C2 is 153, or g into g minus 1 by 2 is equal to 153, or g into g minus 1 is equal to 153 into 2, which is equal to 306. You can solve for this. You can easily get the answer of g as equal to 18. There are multiple ways in which you can solve this. One of the ways that I would assume to calculate the answer quite easily is that, notice that g into g minus 1 is increasing. That is, as the value of g increases, g into g minus 1 will increase, and this is close to 306, which is close to 17 square, that is 289. So I would look around for answers. I look around for numbers between around 17, and you can figure out that if you substitute g is equal to 18, you are going to get the answer. So this value of small g is equal to 18.
Similarly, we are even given that the number of boy versus boy matches in senior level is 276. That is capital B C2 is equal to 276, or B into B minus 1 by 2 is equal to 276, or B into B minus 1 is equal to 276 into 2, this is equal to 552. Again, you can use multiple ways to calculate it. You can expand it as a quadratic equation to solve it, but again you will understand that the value for B that you are going to get is 24. How did I arrive at this? Because 552 is close to 576. Now if you do rough trial and error, you can figure out that when B is equal to 24, B into B minus 1 is 552, which is solved. So the value of capital B is 24, the value of small g is 18. Using this, we can calculate the value of small b. The value of small b will be 43, which is the total number of juniors, minus the number of girls, that is 18. So 43 minus 18 is 25. Similarly, the value of capital B is 24. Therefore, the value of small g will be, capital G will be 51, which is the total number of seniors, minus 24, which is the number of boys. So this will equal 27. Now when you are required to find out the number of matches a boy plays against a girl, we will find out the number of matches in junior level and the number of matches in senior level and then sum them up. As there are 25 boys and 18 girls, the number of matches between them will be 25 into 18. 25 into 18, if you calculate, will be 450. Similarly, the number of boy versus girl matches in senior level will be 24 into 27. You can again calculate this. This will be 108 into 6. This will be 648. So this is 648 in senior level and 450 in junior level. So the total number of boy versus girl matches will be 648 plus 450. This, if you sum it up, will be 1098. In this question, it is given that humans and robots can perform a job at different efficiencies. 15 humans plus 5 robots can working together take 30 days to finish the job. So if 15 humans plus 5 robots work, they take 30 days. Similarly, 5 humans plus 15 robots working together take 60 days. That is 5 humans plus 15 robots take 60 days to finish it. How many days will 15 humans working together without any robot take to finish the work? So we require to find out how many days 15 humans alone will take to finish the job. So because we have 30 days and 60 days on the right hand side, let us try to assume that the total work is a certain number of units. Because it is 30 and 60, let us try to take the LCM of 30 and 60, which is 60. So let the total work be equal to 60 units. Why 60? Because we just want calculations to be simpler, and because there is 30 and 60, we are taking the LCM of the two. So 15 humans plus 5 robots finish 60 units of work in 30 days. So in one day, 15 humans plus 5 robots finish 2 units of work. Similarly, in one day, 5 humans plus 15 robots will finish. In 60 days, they are finishing 60 units of work. So in one day, they finish 1 unit of work. Now, solving these two equations, we will find out the value of H and R, which is the number of units of work one human does in a day and the number of units of work that one robot will do in a day. Then we will find out how much work 15 humans will do in one day, and using that we will calculate the number of days required to finish this job. So it is quite simple. Whenever you see that the coefficients are symmetrical, that is, this is 15H and 5R and 5H and 15R, the first thing you should do is add both of them up. So if you add both these equations, you will get 20H plus 20R is equal to 3. Now you can easily simplify this, that H plus R is equal to 3 by 20. Now using this, you can easily calculate the value of H and R. Because we need the value of H only, let us try to use the first equation. So we will multiply the third equation with 5. So we will get 5H plus 5R is equal to 3 by 20 into 5, so this becomes 3 by 4. Now if you look at the first equation, it is 15h plus 5r is equal to 2. Now you can subtract the first equation, the third equation, basically this equation from this equation. So 1 minus 3 will be imply that 10h is equal to 2 minus 3 by 4. 2 minus 3 by 4, if you simplify, will be 5 by 4. Or h is equal to 5 by 4 by 10. So 5 by 4 by 10 will equal 1 by 8. So one human will do 1 by 8 unit of work in one single day. So 15 humans will do 15 by 8 units of work in one day. Now the total work is 60 units. So how much time will they take? They will take 60 divided by 15 by 8. So this will be 60 into 8 by 15. 60 by 15 is 4. So this will be 32 days. So if only 15 humans work without any robo, they are going to take 32 days to finish the work. In this question, we are required to calculate the farthest distance between 2 points on a cylinder. The height is given as 8 and the radius is given as also 8. So let us try to understand what is exactly meant by it. Let us assume that this is the cylinder. The height is 8 and the radius is 8. So it will be something like this. This is the cylinder. We are required to calculate the farthest distance. So one point will be at the bottom and one point will be at the diametrically opposite end but at the top. So we are required to calculate this distance, the distance between these 2 points A, B. Let us assume that the diametrically opposite point of A but at the top is say equal to C. So the distance between A and C will equal the diameter of the cylinder. The radius is given to be equal to 8. So what is the diameter? That will equal 16, and the height is equal to BC, which is given as equal to 8. So if you are trying to find out the distance between A and B, we have to use the Pythagoras theorem, because ABC is a right angle triangle. So the length of the hypotenuse, which is equal to AB, can be calculated as square root of 8 square plus 16 square, which is equal to square root of 64 plus what is 16 square, that is equal to 256. This is equal to square root of 320. 320 is 64 into 5. 64 is 8 square. So if you bring 64 out of the square root, this will equal square root of 64 into square root of 5, which is equal to 8 into square root of 5. So the correct answer is option A, 8 into square root of 5. In this question, it is given that John jogs on track A at 6 km per hour. So there is track A on which John jogs at 6 km per hour, and Mary jogs on track B at 7.5 km per hour, and there is track B on which Mary jogs at 7.5 km per hour. The total length of track A and B is 325 meters. So A plus B is equal to 0.325 kilometers. While we are using kilometers and not meters because the speeds of both Mary and John are given in kilometers per hour. So it is better to use the same standard, not intermix between kilometers per hour and meter per second. So everything over here we are going to do it as in kilometers. While John makes 9 rounds of track A, Mary makes 5 rounds of track B. So when John makes 9 rounds of track A, the total distance he covers is 9A. This is the total distance that he covers, and the time that he takes to cover 9 rounds is distance by speed. So 9A by 6, which is John's speed, is equal to 5 rounds of track B by Mary. When Mary makes 5 rounds of track B, the total distance that she covers is 5 into B. And what is her speed? Her speed is 7.5 kilometers per hour. Using this, we can find out the lengths of A and B, at least a ratio. So we can simplify this. 5 by 7.5 is 1.5 and 9 by 6 is 1.5. So what this implies is that 1.5A is equal to B by 1.5, or
B is equal to 1.5 into 1.5a. This is equal to 2.25a, which is just the square of 1.5. Now what are we required to find out? We are required to find out in how many seconds Mary will make one round of track A. So let us find out the length of A and B. We can use this equation, the first equation. A plus B is 0.325 kilometers, but we know that B is equal to 2.25a. So A plus 2.25a is equal to 0.325, or 3.25a is equal to 0.325, or A is equal to 0.1 kilometers. Therefore, the length of track A is 0.1 kilometers and the length of B is equal to 0.225 kilometers. Now we are required to find out in how many seconds Mary, who is running at a speed of 7.5 kilometers per hour, will make one round of track A. Again, we will just do the distance by time. The distance that Mary has to cover is 0.1 kilometers by 7.5 kilometers per hour. So she is going to cover this track, one round of this track, in these many hours. We want to convert this into seconds because the question asks us to find out how many seconds it is. So to convert the number of hours into seconds, we will just multiply it by 3600. So 0.1 into 3600 is 360 by 7.5. This is equal to 3600 by 75. You can use your calculator or you can just simplify this. You can divide both numerator and denominator by 3. So this is 1200 by 25. 1200 by 25 is equal to 48. So the answer in this case is 48 seconds. So to do this, we have just found out the two equations of between A and B, then found out the values of A and value of B, and then find out how much time Mary is going to take. The answer is 48 seconds. In this question, we are required to find out the number of real roots of the equation 2 into cos x into x plus 1 is equal to 2 to the power x plus 2 to the power minus x. So if you look at the RHS, that is the right hand side carefully, this is 2 to the power x plus 1 by 2 to the power x. And 2 to the power x is always positive for any real number x. So the number 2 to the power x plus 1 by 2 to the power x is always greater than or equal to 2. This is because any number a plus 1 by a, where a is positive, is always greater than or equal to 2, and the equality will occur when a is equal to 1. So in this case, 2 to the power x plus 1 by 2 to the power x will equal to when 2 to the power x is equal to 1 or x is equal to 0. Similarly, if you look at the left hand side, 2 cos x into x plus 1 by 1, this is something along the lines 2 into cos of a. Now cos of a is always less than or equal to 1. So 2 into cos of a will always be less than or equal to 2. So the left hand side is always less than or equal to 2 and the right hand side is always greater than or equal to 2. So they will equate to each other only when both of them equal 2. And right hand side is equal to 2 when x is equal to 0. So let us check if left hand side also equals 2 when x is equal to 0. And if you substitute the value of x in left hand side, you are going to get 2 into cos of 0 into 1, which is 0. 2 into cos of 0 is actually equal to 2. So the only point at which left hand side will equal right hand side is when both of them are equal to 2, and both of them equal 2 only when x is equal to 0. So the number of real roots of the equation is 1 and the only real root is x is equal to 0. In this question, we are given that S is the set of all the points x comma y in the xy plane which satisfy these two inequalities. One of the inequality is modulus of x plus modulus of y is less than or equal to 2, and the second inequality is that modulus of x is greater than or equal to 1. Now we are required to find out the area in square units which is represented by this region. Let us first get the graph down so that we know exactly what is the area that is being discussed. We'll try to see what is the geometric pattern that this area is and try to find the area of that geometric pattern, geometric shape. So let us first draw the x-axis and the y-axis. Now to get the first inequality, that is modulus of x plus modulus of y is less than or equal to 2, this contains 4 inequalities. The first inequality is x plus y is less than or equal to 2. The second one is x minus y is less than or equal to 2. The third inequality is minus x plus y is less than or equal to 2. And minus x minus y is less than or equal to 2. In each of the quadrants, the inequality will be morphed into one of these four inequalities. So you can easily draw the graphs of x plus y is equal to 2. This line meets the x-axis at 2, 0, and it meets the y-axis at 0, 2. Similarly, each of the other four inequalities can be represented by identical lines in different quadrants. So this will be how the graph x plus modulus of x plus modulus of y is less than or equal to 2 looks like. This should be a square even though it doesn't look like it. So let us get the points where these meet the axis. So minus 2, minus 2. Now let us look at how the second inequality, that is modulus of x is greater than or equal to 1, looks like. Now whenever x is greater than 0, that inequality will be x is greater than or equal to 1, which will be something like this. This will be the line x is equal to 1, and everything to the right of it will be x is greater than or equal to 1. So whenever x is greater than 0, this is the area of intersection. Similarly, whenever x is less than 1, you will get another line which will be represented by minus x is greater than or equal to 1, because modulus of x when x is less than 0 is minus x. So this will be x is less than or equal to minus 1, which will be all the points to the left of minus 1, 0, and this point will be 1, 0. As you can see, the total area is the area of these two triangles. This is one triangle and this is the second triangle. Again, both the triangles are identical. They don't look that way, but the shapes are exactly the same. So to find out the total area, let us find out the area of one of the triangles and multiply it by 2 to get the total area. To find out the area of the triangle, let us assume that this triangle is A, B and C. We'll need the base of the triangle, that is the length of AB, and the height of the triangle. The height of the triangle, if you assume that this is D, the height of the triangle, that is DC, is quite easy to find out. It is 2 minus 1, which is equal to 1. The height of the triangle is 1 unit because we know the coordinates of C, this is 2, 0, and we know the units of D, which is 1, 0. So the height of the triangle is 1 unit. To find out the base, that is the length of AB, we'll have to find out the points of intersection of the lines x is equal to 1, which is one of the inequalities, along and the two line segments. One of the line segment is x plus y is equal to 2. So the point of intersection, that is this point A, will be 1, 1. So the coordinates of the point A are 1, 1. Similarly, if you calculate the coordinates of point B, they will be 1, minus 1. Therefore, the length of AB is equal to 2 units. This is basically 1 minus minus 1, which is equal to 2 units. Therefore, the area of triangle ABC is equal to half into base into height. This is equal to half into the base is 2 units into the height is 1 unit, which is equal to 1 unit. Now this is only the area of triangle ABC. We need to multiply it by 2 to take care of the second triangle, which is identical to it. Therefore, the total area is 2 units. So the answer that we are looking for is 2 units. In this kind of question, if you first get the shape of the graph correct, most of the work is already done. Then you will have to look for symmetry and try to do the calculations without making any mistake. In this case, you should figure out that once I get the base correct and the height correct, finding the area is very straightforward.
Google search XAT crash course. Click on the first link. You can find a highly comprehensive crash course curated for the XAT. Click on Enroll to get full access to the course.
In this question, we are given an equation. We are told that there are two numbers x and y such that log of 3x plus y to the base 3 is equal to log of 4x square minus 4xy plus 16y square to the base 9. So if you're looking at it, the left hand side is log x to the base 3 is equal to log of y, some other number. If say x is a variable, y is another variable, log y to the base 9. The base on the left hand side is 3 and the base on the right hand side is 9. So we can represent the number or the expression on the right hand side to be equal to 1 by 2 log of y to the base 3. and the left hand side will remain the same. This is x to the base 3. So if you bring 2 to the other side, this will be into 2, or if you want to take 2 into the logarithm, this will imply that log of x square to the base 3 is equal to log of y to the base 3, or we can cancel log to the base 3 on both sides. So x square will equal y. We'll use the same idea multiple times in this question. So if you're looking at the first expression that is given to us, it says that log of 3x plus y to the base 3 is equal to log of 4x square minus 4xy plus 16y square to the base 9. The base on the left hand side is 3 and the base on the right hand side is 9. So as we have discussed earlier, this would imply that 3x plus y whole square is equal to 4x square minus 4xy plus 16y square. Or you can simplify this as 9x square plus 6xy plus y square is equal to 4x square minus 4xy plus 16y square. You can simplify this as 5x square plus 10xy minus 15y square is equal to 0. Or you can divide the entire expression by 5 and this would become x square plus 2xy minus 3y square is equal to 0. You can factorize this as x square plus 3xy minus xy minus 3y square is equal to 0. Or you can take x common over here and y common over there. So this will be x minus y into x plus 3y is equal to 0. So now we have two cases. The first case is that x is equal to y. The second case is that x is equal to minus 3y. We are also given another equation which we will use to find out the value of a. The equation given to us again has 2 in the base on the left hand side and 4 in the base in the right hand side. So as we have discussed earlier, this would imply that the argument square on the left hand side will equal the argument on the right hand side, or 3x plus y whole square, because we have base to be 2 over here, will equal 3x square plus 4xy plus ay square. If x is equal to y, the argument on the left hand side will become equal to 4y. So this will equal 16y square is equal to 3x square will again equal 3y square plus 4xy will become equal to 4y square plus ay square. Or as you can see, this would imply that ay square is equal to 9y square, or the value of a should equal 9. This is one case. If you are looking at the second case where x is equal to minus 3y, what will the left hand side look like? 3x will be equal to minus 9y. So minus 9y plus y is equal to minus 8y. Minus 8y whole square is equal to 64y square. This will equal 3x square. X square will become equal to 9y square. So 3x square will equal 27y square plus 4xy. X is equal to minus 3y. So this will equal minus 12y square plus ay square. Or the right hand side is 27 minus 12, that is 15y square. So 64 minus 15 is 49y square. So ay square is equal to 49y square, or the value of a is equal to 49. So we have two possible values for a and we are required to find out the product of all such possible values. So they will be 9 into 49, which is equal to 441. In this question, we are told that a group of 12 men worked for 6 days, and after that, from every day, one man was joining. So on the 7th day, one man joined, 8th day, another man joined, and so on till the work was finished. And it took a total of 20 days from the start for the task to be finished. So let us assume that the work that one man does every day is 1 unit. So 12 men do 12 units of work every day, and they do it for the first 12 days. So for the first 12 days, the total amount of work done is 12 into 6, which is 72 units. On the 7th day, another person joined, so there are 13 people now, and the work done will be 13. On the 8th day, 14 units of work will be done by 14 men, and so on. And on the 20th day, 26 units of work will be done. So the total work done from the 7th day till the 20th day, when the job was finished, is 13 plus 14 plus dot 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 till 26. What is the sum of 13 plus 14 plus dot 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 till 26? This is an arithmetic progression and there are 14 terms. So to quickly calculate the sum, you have to just add the first term and the last term and divide it by 2. So that is 26 plus 13 divided by 2 is 39 by 2, and multiply it with the number of terms, that is 14. So 39 by 2 into 14 is the sum. So this is equal to 39 into 7. 39 into 7 is 273. So from the 7th day till the 20th day, 273 units of work was done. And on the first 6 days, 72 units of work was done. So the total work that needs to be completed is 273 plus 72, which is 345 units. Let us assume that if we have to consider another case in which every day one person is leaving the job and the work is still completed. So let us assume that the minimum number of people we need to employ such that the work is completed is, say, n. So on the first day n persons work, on the second day n minus 1 persons will work, on the third day n minus 2 persons will work, and so on, and the sum of the total work done has to be greater than, or has to be exactly equal to 345. So if you are adding all the numbers from n to 1, that is n plus n minus 1 plus dot 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 till 1, this sum will be equal to n into n plus 1 divided by 2. So you want to find out the smallest n such that n into n plus 1 by 2 is greater than or equal to 345. Or you want to find out the smallest n such that n into n plus 1 is greater than 690. That will be the smallest minimum possible number of employees that we need to hire at the start. We can do it by brute force also, or we can just keep counting and keep checking. Say you substitute the value of n to be equal to 20. Then 20 into 21 is 420. That is n into n plus 1. If you make n to be equal to, say, 25, then n into n plus 1 will be 25 into 26, which is equal to 650. 650 is close to 690, so let us try n is equal to 26. The value of 26 into 27 will be equal to 729 minus 27. This is equal to 702. You can use your calculator also to find it out, but when n is equal to 26, the value of n into n plus 1 is 702, which is greater than 690, greater than or equal to, and when n is equal to 25, the value of n into n plus 1 is 650, which is less than 690. So the smallest possible value of n is equal to 26. So when you have 26 people working on the first day, 25 people working on the second day, and so on, the work will be completed before you run out of men. So the answer in this case is 26. In this question, we are given a right-angled isosceles triangle ABC, and we are given its incircle. The larger circle that you see in the diagram is the incircle. Incircle is the circle where the center of the circle is the point of intersection of all the angular bisectors. So now we are also given another small circle where it touches the incircle and the sides AB and AC, and we are required to find out the area of the smaller circle. If we are told that the area of the larger circle, that is the area of the incircle, is 1 square unit. Now how are we going to find it? We can find it if we can find out the ratio of the radius of both the circles, then we can easily find out the ratio of the areas. Once we know the ratio of the areas, because the area of the larger circle is given, we can easily find out the area of the smaller circle. Now, one of the first things that you should do is try to understand that the incircle will divide, because this is a right angled isosceles triangle, it will divide the hypotenuse into two equal parts. So just for ease, let us name even the points of intersection of the incircle with respect to the sides. So let us assume this is D, this is E, and this is F. Now let us assume that, just to prove that, let us assume that AD is equal to AF is equal to small a. From A, if we are drawing two tangents to the incircle, there will be AF and AD, they will be of the same length. So let us assume that they are small a. So this is A and this is A. Similarly, let us assume that CE is equal to CD is equal to B. That is, this is B and this is B. And similarly, let us assume that BE is equal to BF is equal to C. That is, we assume that this is C and this is C. As this is an isosceles triangle, AB is equal to BC. Therefore, the length of AB will be AF plus FB, that is A plus C. This is equal to BC, that is B plus C. You can cancel C, and therefore A is equal to B. What we are essentially proving is something that you can easily see, that the incircle will divide the hypotenuse into two equal parts. Now once we know this, what we'll do is quite simple. We'll connect B to the point of intersection of the incircle and the hypotenuse. Now this will divide the bigger circle ABC into two congruent triangles, that is two triangles which are equal in all aspects. The two congruent triangles are triangle ABD and triangle BDC. These two are equal in all aspects. All the three sides are of equal length. For example, AD is equal to DC, AB is equal to BC, and the side BD is common. So all the three sides of the triangle are equal. So all the angles of both the triangles will be equal. We can easily conclude that angle BDA will equal angle BDC will equal 90 degrees. Now what we'll do is quite simple. We'll ignore the triangle. We'll just focus on the two circles, because what is needed is that we need the ratio of the radius of both the triangles. Let us assume that the center of this triangle is O and the center of the smaller triangle is, say, O1. Now if you connect O to C, let us assume that the radius of the larger circle is capital R and radius of the smaller circle is smaller. We just need to find out the ratio of the radii. So OC will be equal to capital R. This is the radius of the larger triangle. Similarly, OE will also equal capital R. And both of them will have 90 degrees because they are connecting the center to a tangent. Now we know that even angle B is 90 degrees. Therefore, this is basically a square. This is a rectangle where the adjacent sides are of equal length. Both of them are R. So that we can actually conclude that C that we assumed earlier is actually equal to R. And even this C will equal R. This is basically a square. We can do the same thing for even the smaller circle, and then we will get another square of length smaller. Now we have drawn both the circles. Again, we have slightly magnified them, and we have ignored the hypotenuse and the other sides of the triangle. We have done this just to avoid confusion. So now again, let us draw points and try to figure out the ratio of the radii. If we can figure out the ratio of the radii, we are completely done. So let us assume that this is capital O and the center of the small circle is small o, O1. This is F, this is E, this is C, and this is, say, B, and this is A. Now if you are looking at the sides, we already mentioned that OFEA is a square of side capital R. Similarly, the smaller circle, that is O1BCA, don't get confused between B, A and C. This is some nomenclature that we have given just now. Even OBCA is a square of length smaller. Now if you look at the side OA, OA is actually equal to R root 2. This is quite simple. This is the diagonal of a square. The diagonal of the square is OFEA is the square of side R. So the diagonal will equal R root 2. But this R root 2 can be again classified as OA is equal to O1A, which is the diagonal of the smaller square, plus R small r plus capital R. This is basically the distance between the centers. This is equal to R root 2. O1A is the diagonal of the smaller square, so that will equal R root 2. So R root 2 plus small r is equal to capital R root 2 minus capital R. Or R is equal to capital R into root 2 minus 1 by root 2 plus 1. Root 2 minus 1 by root 2 plus 1, or 1 by root 2 plus 1, you can easily simplify this as equal to root 2 minus 1. This is, if you multiply the numerator and denominator with root 2 minus 1, the denominator will become root 2 whole square, that is 2, minus 1 whole square, that is 1. So 1 by root 2 minus 1 is actually equal to root 2 minus 1. So this will equal R into root 2 minus 1 whole square. So now we have found out the value of small r in terms of capital R. To find out the area of the smaller circle in terms of the area of the larger circle, we just have to find out the ratio of the squares. That is, small r square is equal to capital R square into root 2 minus 1 to the power 4. If you multiply both left hand side and right hand side with pi, pi small r square is equal to pi capital R square into root 2 minus 1 to the power 4. Pi into small r square is what we are required to find out. This is the area of the smaller square. But we are given that pi into capital R square is equal to 1. We are told that the area of the larger circle is 1. So the required answer is just root 2 minus 1 whole to the power 4. You can simplify this. So this will equal root 2 minus 1 whole square. Root 2 minus 1 whole square will equal 3 minus 2 root 2 whole square. So root 2 minus 1 whole to the power 4 is equal to root 2 minus 1 whole square. Root 2 minus 1 whole square is equal to 3 minus 2 root 2 whole square. So this will be 9 plus 8 minus 12 root 2. 9 plus 8 is 17 minus 12 root 2. This is the answer. In this question, we are given a function f of x. It is told that f of x is minimum of 2x square and 52 minus 5x, where x is any positive real number. We are required to find out the maximum possible value of f of x. So what we'll do is we'll first try to draw the graphs so that we understand what exactly has been given, and then we'll try to find out what exactly has been asked and try to solve it. So first let us draw the graph of f of x is equal to 2x square. So if you have the x and y axis, f of x is equal to 2x square will be something like this, and f of x is equal to 52 minus 5x will be something like this. It will be a negative sloped line. It will intersect the y axis at 52, 0, and it will intersect the x axis at something like 52 by 5, 0, and this is y is equal to 2x square. These are the two graphs, 2x square and 52 minus 5x, but we are only required to find out the graphs when x is a positive real number. So it will be something like this. We will only consider right side of the y axis. So again 2x square will be something like this, and 52 minus 5x will be something like this. Now we are required to find out the minimum of these two numbers. So the minimum will be 2x square as long as the intersection doesn't happen, and once both the curves intersect it will become 52 minus 5x. So the required function, which is f of x is equal to minimum of 2x square comma 52 minus 5x, will be something like this. It will be 2x square for some point, and then afterwards it will become 52 minus 5x throughout. Now this point, this curve achieves its maximum at the point of intersection of 2x square and 52 minus 5x. Now in order to calculate the maximum possible value of f of x, what we'll try to find out is we'll first find out at what point, that is at what value of x will these two curves intersect. Once we find out the value of x, we can easily calculate the value of f of x at that point. Now these two curves intersect when 2x square is equal to 52 minus 5x. That is 2x square plus 5x minus 52 is equal to 0. We can easily factorize it, but just to make it even simpler, we notice that 2 into 52 is 104. Now the difference is 5x. So basically we need to find out two numbers whose product is 104 and who differ each other by 5. You can easily find out that those two numbers are 13 and 8, because 13 into 8 is 104 and the difference between these two is 5. So what we'll do to factorize is 2x square plus 13x minus 8x minus 52 is equal to 0, or x into 2x plus 13 minus 4 into 2x plus 13 is equal to 0, or x minus 4 into 2x plus 13 is equal to 0. Therefore the two curves intersect when x is equal to 4 or when x is equal to minus 13 by 2, which is minus 6.5. Of these two solutions, we can ignore x is equal to minus 6.5 because we are only concerned when x is a positive real number. But just for understanding, x is equal to 6.5 will represent the point to the left of the y-axis, at which point both the curves intersect for the first time. After that, they again intersect right of the x-axis, and this equals 4, or in this case this equals 4. So the maximum possible value of f of x occurs when x is equal to 4, and at this point f of x will be 2x square is 2 into 4 into 4, which is equal to 32. This will coincide with the second equation, which is 52 minus 5 into the value of x is 4 is equal to 32. So at this point both 2x square and 52 minus 5x are equal, and the value of f of x will equal 32. So the maximum possible value of f of x is 32. In these sort of questions, it is always important to draw the graph so that you get a sense of what exactly has been given, how the graphs look, and what we are required to find out. Once you draw the graph, for example, in this case, once you understood that, all we need to do is find out at what point these two curves intersect. Solving it and finding the value as 32 is very easy. In this question, we are given that there is a regular pyramid and the base of the regular pyramid is a square. So, say this is a pyramid and this is the base of the pyramid. This is a square and each of the other four sides is an equilateral triangle. So, this will be in another dimension where there is an equilateral triangle. All this, the other sides of the pyramid, which is basically in 3 dimension, will meet at an apex, and each of this is a equilateral triangle. The length of each side is 20 centimeters. So, for the pyramid, the other 4 sides are 20 centimeters each, and they are all equilateral triangles. This would imply that even the base of the triangle, which we know is a square, the length of each side of the square is 20 centimeters. Now, notice that the point where they made this is the apex of the pyramid, which is at the top. Now, we are required to find out the vertical height of this pyramid. So, what we will first do is, for each of the equilateral sides, which is along the side, we will find out the length of the median. So, if you are looking only at the equilateral sides, which is one of the sides of the equilateral triangle of the pyramid, we know that it is an equilateral triangle of side 20 centimeters. So, along one of those sides, if you draw a line from the apex to the bottom, which is bisecting the third side, that is, which is bisecting the base, the length of this side will be 10 root 3, because that is the median of the equilateral triangle of side 20. You can calculate that quite easily because this is 60 degrees, and so this will be 20 into sine 60, that is 20 into root 3 by 2, so that will be 10 root 3. Now consider just the base of the triangle, base of the pyramid. The base of the pyramid is a square. Now consider the point which is in the middle of the base. Now if you draw a line which is vertically to the top, it will come and meet the apex at some point. So say this is the apex, this is a vertical line of height say h. Now again along the ground, you are drawing a line from the base, from the center of the base to the side of the pyramid. The length of this side will be 10 centimeters, because the length of the square is 20 centimeters. This will be exactly half of it. Now if you consider the apex as A and the center of the pyramid as C, and the point at which the line meets the side of the square as say D, ACD will be a right angle triangle. Now ACD will be a right angle triangle. The height of the right angle triangle is h, as we have just discussed. At the base it will be a right angle over here, and the length of the side along the ground will be 10 centimeters. This is CD, and when you draw a line in 3 dimension which meets from A to D over here, this will be along the side of the equilateral triangle that we have just discussed, and the length of it will be 10 root 3. Now using this we can actually calculate the value of h, which is the vertical height of the pyramid that we need. Because this is a right angle triangle, h square plus 10 square will equal 10 root 3 whole square, or h square will be 300 minus 100, which is equal to 200, or h is equal to square root of 200, which is equal to 10 root 2. Now what we have found out is one thing. We have first found out the length of, if you draw a line from the apex of the pyramid to the center of the square, that length will be 10 root 3 directly in 3 dimension. Then we have recognized that if you just consider the triangle where apex is one vertex, the center of the square is the second vertex, and the center of a side of the square is the third vertex, it will be a right angle triangle in 3 dimension. Now the sides will be h, 10 and 10 root 3. Using this you can calculate the value of h, which will equal 10 root 2. This is the answer. In this question we are given 2 sums, P and Q. They look similar but they are slightly different. We are asked to find the difference when Q minus P, when P is subtracted from Q. and we have to find the remainder when this difference is divided by 1000. So let us first write down both the sums. P is equal to 1 into 3 plus 5 into 7 plus 9 into 11 plus dot 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 plus 2017. Q is equal to 1 plus 3 into 5 plus 7 into 9 plus 11 into 13 plus dot 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 plus 2015 into 2017. Now when we are subtracting Q minus P, this becomes 1 plus, we are trying to keep these terms together, 1 plus 3 into 4 plus 7 into 4 plus 11 into 4 plus dot 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 plus 2015 into 4 minus 2017. So Q minus P, this actually becomes 1 plus 4 into 3 plus 7 plus dot 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 plus 2015 minus 2017. Now this becomes the sum of the arithmetic progression becomes, the number of terms in this arithmetic progression is 2016 by 4, which is equal to 504. So this becomes 4 into the number of terms, this is 504, into the average of the first and the last term. The average of the first and the last term becomes 2018 by 2, which is equal to 1009 minus 2016. We are just taking this 1 into this 2017. Now if you use your calculator, you can find that the value of this product is equal to 2034144 minus 2016. If you subtract it, you get 2032128. So when this is divided by 1000, the answer is 128. Now for this question, we have found out that Q minus P, if we transform it a little, we will get it as the sum of an arithmetic progression. Then we just calculated the sum and we simplified the expression to find the value. In this question, it is given that Ravi appeared in 5 exams: English, Maths, Science, Social Science and Computer Science. So there are 5 exams. They are English, Maths, Science, Social Science and Computer Science. Now the total marks allotted for each of the subjects is a multiple of 50. So let us assume that the marks that he got are 50A, 50B, 50C, 50D and 50E, where A, B, C, D and E are natural numbers. We are also told that the numbers are unique. Each one of them is different. Now the pass mark in each one of them is 40% of the total marks. And we are also told that the total marks allotted for each of these 5 subjects is 750. That is, the sum of all these 5 numbers is 750. This will give us an idea about what is the value of A plus B plus C plus D plus E. Because 50A plus 50B plus 50C plus 50D plus 50 is equal to 750. So 50 into A plus B plus C plus D plus E is equal to 750, or A plus B plus C plus D plus E is equal to 15. Now you should immediately notice that all A to E are unique numbers. They are all different numbers, and the smallest possible value of the sum of 5 unique natural numbers is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. But this sum itself, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, is equal to 15. So what this means is that A, B, C, D and E are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but we don't know which is what. We just know that all 5 of them are the set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but A can be any of 1 to 5. We can't say that A is exactly equal to 1, but we know that all 5 of them are between 1 and 5 and all of them are unique. Now if we go to the next one, some more information is given. It is given that the difference between the marks he scored in English and the pass mark in English is 10% of the pass marks. We know that the pass marks is 40% of the total. Now if he has scored 10% more than the pass marks, that is 10% of the pass marks is 4%. Therefore his score in English is 44% of the total marks. So in English he has scored 44%. Similarly for maths, this difference is 20% of the pass marks. The pass marks is again 40%, 20% of the pass marks is 8%. So in maths he scored 48%. Similarly in science he scored 52%. In social science he scored 56%. And in computer science he scored 60%. We are also given the total marks that he scored. The total marks he scored are 410. This can be easily calculated for the individual subjects. For example, in English he has scored 50A is the total marks into 44%. So 50A into 44 by 100 is equal to 22A. So in English he scored 22A. Similarly in maths he scored 24B. In science he scored 26C. In social science he scored 28D. And in computer science he scored 30A. Now the sum of all of the marks that he scored is 410. So we know that 22A plus 24B plus 26C plus 28D plus 30E is equal to 410. Or we can take 22 into A plus B plus C plus D plus E common, because we know the value of A plus B plus C plus D plus E, that is equal to 15. And we'll basically express 24B as 22B plus 2B. So 22B will go into the brackets and 2B will be left. Similarly 26C can be expressed as 22C plus 4C. 22C will go into the bracket and 4C will be left. Similarly for 28D it will be 6D, and for 30E it will be 80. This is equal to 410. But again we know that A plus B plus C plus D is equal to 15. So 22 into 15 is 330. So 2B plus 4C plus 6D plus 80 is equal to 410 minus 330. Or 2B plus 4C plus 6D plus 80 is equal to 410 minus 22 into 15. 22 into 50 is 330. So this will equal 80. We can divide the entire equation by 2 because all the coefficients are multiples of 2. So B plus C plus B plus 2C plus 3D plus 4E is equal to 40. Now is there a way in which we can solve it? Is there a way in which we can find out the values of A, B, C, D and E? Because there is only one equation. But surprisingly we can actually find out the values of A, B, C, D and E, because we know that all of them are unique between 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now so if you are looking at the equation B plus 2C plus 3D plus 4E, and if you want to maximize it, the way you maximize it, that is to get the maximum possible value, is multiplying the highest coefficient, that is 4, with the highest possible value. That is, if you assume that E is equal to 5 and D is equal to 4 and C is equal to 2 and C is equal to 3 and B is equal to 2, only then will the expression B plus 2C plus 3D plus 4E be maximized. And if you calculate the maximum value, it will actually equal 40. We can do that now. That is 4 into 5 is 20 plus 3 into 4 is 12 plus 2 into 3 is 6 plus B is 2. So if you calculate this, this is 32 plus 8, this is 40. So B plus 2C plus 3D plus 4E, the maximum possible value is 40. And this happens when B is equal to 2, C is equal to 3, D is equal to 4 and D is equal to 5. But as we are given that the value of B plus 2C plus 3D plus 4 is equal to 40, it would imply that B is equal to 2, C is equal to 3, D is equal to 4 and E is equal to 5. This would imply that A is equal to 1. For any other permutation of A, B, C, D and D, the value of B plus 2C plus 3D plus 4E will be less than 40. So now we know that A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4 and E is 5. We can calculate what exactly has been asked. It has been asked that we have to calculate the difference between the marks that is scored in maths and social science. In maths, as B is 2, the total is out of 100. This is 50B. In social science, as D is 4, the total is for 200. And in maths he scored 48%. That is, in maths he scored 48. And in social science he scored 56% of 200. That is, he scored 112. So the difference between these two is 112 minus 48, which will equal 64. In this question it is given that n and x are positive integers such that n to the power n is 2 to the power 160 and n square plus 2 to the power n is an integral multiple of 2 to the power x. Now we are required to find out the largest possible value of x. Now if you look at the first equation that is given, it is given that n to the power n is 2 to the power 160. Here there is only one variable. The variable is n and you have one equation. So it should be possible to solve for the value of n. Now let us try to solve for n. Once we find out n, we'll try to understand what n square plus 2 to the power n represents, and then try to figure out what is the value of x, the largest possible value of x. So if you are looking at n to the power n, if this equals 2 to the power 160, here the number is much less than the exponential. The number over here is 2 and the exponent is 160. So let us try to get both of them closer to each other. You can represent 2 square as 4. So this will be n to the power n is equal to 4 to the power 80. Even now the number is much less than the exponent. If we try to make it look like 2 to the power 4, which is equal to 2 to the power 4 is equal to 16. So this will be equal to 16 to the power of 40, n to the power n. We are basically dividing the exponent by 4 and raising 2 to the power 4. So this will be 16 to the power 40. Even over here you can see that 16 is less than 40. If you try to check the next number, which is 2 to the power 5, which is equal to 32. So n to the power n is equal to 32 to the power 160 by 5, which is also equal to 32. So n to the power n is equal to 2 to the power 160, which can be represented as 2 to the power 5 and 2 to the power 160 by 5. This is equal to 32 to the power 32. Here you can understand that n has to equal 32. So by trial and error we can figure out that the value of n is 32. Now if you are looking at n square plus 2 to the power n, this will equal 32 square plus 2 to the power 32. Let us write 32 as 2 to the power 5. So 32 square will be 2 to the power 10. So this will equal 2 to the power 10 plus 2 to the power 32. Now we are told that this is an integral multiple of another number called 2 to the power x, where x is a positive integer. And we have to figure out the maximum possible value of x. So you can simplify 2 to the power 10 plus 2 to the power 32 as follows. You can take 2 to the power 10 common between both of them. So this becomes 1 plus 2 to the power 22. Now we are told that this is an integral multiple of 2 to the power x. You can easily identify that 1 plus 2 to the power 22 is an odd number. So it shares no factor with 2 to the power x. So 2 to the power x has to be a factor of 2 to the power 10. Because 2 to the power x has only 2 as its prime factor, and 2 to the power 22 plus 1, that is the number in the brackets, is an odd number. So it has no common multiples, common factors with 2. So 2 to the power x is a factor of 2 to the power 10. So the largest possible value of x is equal to 10, and in that case 2 to the power x will actually equal 2 to the power 10. So the answer in this case is 10. In this question, let us assume that a and b are natural numbers such that a square plus ab plus a is equal to 14 and b square plus ab plus b is equal to 28. If you are looking at a square plus ab plus a, this is equal to 14, and b square plus ab plus b is equal to 28. If you are adding both of them together, we are going to get a square plus b square plus 2ab plus a plus b. This is equal to 42. A square plus b square plus 2ab is a plus b whole square plus a plus b is equal to 42. This can be factorized to equal a plus b into a plus b plus 1 is equal to 42. If you assume that a plus b is equal to k, k will also be a natural number such that k into k plus 1 is equal to 42, and because k is a natural number, you will conclude that the value of k will be equal to 6, because 6 into 7 is equal to 42. Now if a plus b is equal to 6, if you are looking at any one of the equations, say you are looking at the first equation, this is a into a plus b plus a is equal to 14. That is the value of a square plus ab plus a. This is 6a plus a is equal to 14, or the value of a is equal to 2 and the value of b is equal to 4. Therefore, the value of 2a plus b will be equal to 4 plus 4, which is equal to 8. So the answer for this question is option A.
In this question, we are given a fraction n square plus 7n plus 12 by n square minus n minus 12, and we are required to find out the largest positive integer n for which the given fraction is also a positive integer. So let us assume that the given fraction is f, and this equals n square plus 7n plus 12 by n square minus n minus 12. Now we can factorize the numerator as n plus 3 into n plus 4 and the denominator as n plus 3 into n minus 4. So we can cancel n plus 3 from both the numerator and denominator. So the given fraction will just become n plus 4 by n minus 4. Now we are required to find out the largest integer n such that this is a positive integer. Now we can simplify f further so that it becomes n plus 4 by n minus 4, which is equal to 1 plus 8 by n minus 4. How did we come to this conclusion? It is because n plus 4 is actually equal to n minus 4 plus 8. So if you divide n plus 4 by n minus 4, this actually becomes 1 plus 8 by n minus 4. Now we are required to find out the largest positive integer such that 8 by n minus 4 is also a positive integer. Now we can easily see that this will happen only when n minus 4 is equal to 8 or n is equal to 12. Because if n is greater than 12, n minus 4 will be greater than 8 and this will not be a positive integer. Therefore, f, which is equal to 1 plus 8 by n minus 4, will also not be a positive integer. So the maximum value of n for which 8 by n minus 4 is a positive integer will be if n minus 4 is equal to 8 and n is equal to 12, in which case the value of the fraction f becomes 2. Because 8 by n minus 4 will become 1 and you have to add 1, so f becomes 2. So the maximum value, largest positive integer n for which this is a positive integer is 12. That is the answer.
Google search Krakus XAT mock test series. Click on the link. After completing the test, you'll be getting detailed solutions, analysis, percentile along with your scorecard to gauge your all India performance.